All right, you guys missed all the funny stuff, so we are now going to do
the regular stuff.
Tonight,
we try to do all the funny stuff before the show starts.
Yeah, we try to make sure that happens often.
But I'm super excited about today's show. Like
it's a big show.
It is a big show. So like
big shows.
This has been a big month.
A couple days ago, we were supposed to have Rick Santorum on. It didn't work out. Wires got crossed. Anyway, we contacted him, and he's going to be on at 1:45. So we're going to bump Wiggins America. 12:45. I'm sorry. He's going to be on at 12:45, so which means we're going to have to bump Wiggins America to 1:45.
We got an October surprise for you.
Oh, for Wiggins America?
No.
Oh,
for you.
You guys, never mind. Never mind.
So, anyway.
No. We'll do that one. We'll do that one tomorrow before the show.
The YouTube poll today is are you religious? And this time Annie gave you an option. Yes, no, or even undecided. So if you don't know, let us know that you don't know. And tell us why you don't know.
Clear as day.
Everybody got that? Good. There you go, Ryan.
I'm taking over.
That's an interesting question because there are ways to answer that.
So I talked about Rick Santorum and Wiggins America.
And then guess what our October surprise is?
What?
Guess who's going to be? You can
the person that's going to be on the
who's
show.
going to be on the show at 1:26.
Okay, well, at 1:07 we have Deroy Murdock.
That's
so I'm excited
right.
about that. But at 1:25 we have Ted Cruz.
Woo woo!
Ted Cruz.
I'm
A
really
late
excited
booking by
about
Brad.
that.
A good one.
That's a really good guess.
We're gonna not do this live here. We're gonna move it.
I don't have a spot to put it.
What 250? Oh.
What about the top of the tube?
All right, we'll put it there.
I am.
And I'm gonna learn how to use this. And it's really iron.
So here's something crazy that happened today.
What?
I went to the ENT today because I've had terrible sinus pressure. The guy punctured my eardrum on purpose, like they do with babies and tubes, and it has not worked. And now I just feel dizzy, and I still can't hear out of this ear very well. This seems fine. I mean, I can hear, but it was supposed to fix it, and I now feel like I'm going crazy.
It's like what is that Christmas movie?
Amelia?
Close to.
No, it's not that one. It's the one where
Vacation.
every time the bell rings, an angel gets his wings.
Oh, life.
It's a Wonderful Life. He can't hear out of the one ear because he saves his son or his brother.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
That's exactly why, Ryan. He saved somebody's life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why he can't hear out of that ear.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we whisper like that thing about him on that side.
I saved somebody's life from being bored in the lobby of that place. I told them you should check out what is on the TV right now. John C. Reilly is on Property Brothers. And he said, no
I
kidding.
don't really understand what's happening.
What?
You know who else doesn't understand what's happening?
Ryan?
Us. We're just going for it. We're just going it.
All right.
Ted Cruz 125. I'm so excited.
Rick Santorum is a pretty big guest.
Rick Santorum is great.
It's a
And
huge guest.
today, Ted Cruz is on the show also. So
And Wiggins.
and me. I'm right after Ted Cruz. So I guess you could say that he is my opening act.
You can say that. I
That's
wouldn't
what
say
you're
it's correct to say that, but you can say it.
I might
He
say
was
that.
so proud of that. He just smiled at me.
Because I already big shout out to Ted Cruz for welcoming me and being my opening act.
Hey, today's no strike on the YouTube channel there.
Oh, that's a huge day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be cool if we got a strike because of Ted Cruz?
That would be awesome.
That would be something.
Just because of Ted Cruz.
I don't know. I don't know what the rules are.
The rules are no Ted Cruz anymore.
Great stuff, guys.
Thank you. I really am feeling very weird. So I moved my head. Yeah. Not dizzy, just yeah. It's like all this pressure right here and then none right here. So I just feel like
So there's no pressure on this side of you. And on that side of you, there's
yes,
pressure.
yes.
Hannah's on that side of you.
Not really. She's kind of in front of me.
Is that better?
Interesting to know what Ryan feels like when he's actually under pressure.
Half.
Dizzy.
Half of
Is it? Okay, I believe the show
Yep.
is about to start. Big show.
Big show today. Really big show.
Someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
Right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Do you want President Biden to come to Ohio and publicly campaign with you in this final lap?
No, I won't be asking the president to come in, or very, very few, if any, national people, to come in and actually campaign with us, because I want to be the main face, the main messenger of this campaign. I grew up in Ohio. I'm Ohio in my bones. My wife is from just outside the Youngstown area like me. She's a 20-year public school teacher. Our kids go to public schools. Like, we're just, we're an Ohio family that wants to.
Well, welcome into the Annie Frey Show. Guys,
oh, man.
What a great way to tell you we got a new computer here on mine. Tim Ryan, he's really losing it there in Ohio. Welcome into the Annie Frey Show. You got this computer down before I continue to try to fix whatever just happened there?
It is down and off the air.
Fantastic. Tim Ryan saying right there, who's running against J.D. Vance in Ohio, saying what everybody's thinking. Guess what, folks? We don't want Joe Biden to come campaign with us. And when we don't want Joe Biden to come campaign with us, according to Tim Ryan, that's because I'm my own man. I'm the guy here who's running this race, and I want this race to be about Ohio, not about some national figure. You think they would have turned down Barack Obama? Interestingly enough, when Barack Obama in 2010 that was the Tea Party year. When 2010 was taking place, there were stories as well because of the Affordable Care Act was such an unpopular debacle among a lot of conservatives and taxpayer-centered people that in purple areas, they didn't want Barack Obama because it was Obamacare. They didn't want him to come campaign because it wasn't good for him. But if you think that Barack Obama going to a blue state, that's not going to turn out the voters and the tax or the fundraisers, it definitely will. We've got a really big show today, and we're excited that you're here with us. Brad, do you want to give us, executive producer Brad, what the rundown of the show is as we move through today till 3?
Yeah, so what we're going to do is we're going to start off with, at 12:45, we've got a really exciting guest, Rick Santorum. He's of the Convention of States Project. He's going to come on. He's going to talk to us a little bit about the Convention of States and why that could be a good thing for the United States and how it is kind of our last best hope to defend against government overreach. Then at 1:07, Deroy Murdock, weekly guest, comes on. He's got a new article out in Newsmax, and he's going to talk about Biden's border crisis and how it's worse than what you think it actually is. And then I'm really excited about this. Ted Cruz is going to be on at 1:25. And
That's so exciting.
It's super cool because that was like this morning. Like this morning as I'm preparing for the show, that contact happened and we made it happen. We got him on the show and we had to shuffle things around. And
as I understand it, they reached out and wanted to be on the station.
Yes.
And fortunately, it was at our time.
Yep.
I don't know that he has any idea who I am. I doubt he does.
He will after this.
That's right. We're going to make a great impression, and I'm glad we got that computer glitch out of the way.
Yes. Get it all out of the way now. And he's going to talk about a bus tour that he's on and probably Eric Schmidt for Senate.
I hope so. Eric, man, I was watching Fox News this morning. This is funny. I was watching Fox News this morning, and I told Brad, you need to get the breakdown, the power rankings breakdown from the start of the 10 o'clock show. And he's like, great, I'll get it. And then I get here, he's like, I'm looking everywhere, and I don't know what you're talking about. And I'm like, it's right there at the beginning of the show. Turns out I was watching yesterday's show.
But we found it, and we got it.
We did, but the breakdown of, I thought this was interesting because Regan Deering was in studio with us yesterday. The breakdown of different races and where they're falling right now. They're likely Dem, likely Republican, leans Democrat. The Regan Deering race, which is the Illinois 13th congressional, drawn specifically for Nikki Budzinski, the Democrat candidate, who's a J.B. Pritzker person, a Joe Biden person, worked in politics all the time. She got planted right there in this district that snakes through central Illinois from down here in the Metro East, which is where I live, and it goes through like every college town all the way up to Champaign. It's bizarre.
Yeah.
I mean, the Constitution says it defines what a district needs to be, easily traversed and, representative. This is not that.
No. And if you look at the other district that it almost bisects, I think what they were saying is to travel from one end of that district to the other without crossing through the 13th, it's like an additional 500 miles, or was it 200 miles? I don't know. It was a lot of miles.
It's wild. Well, that was specifically drawn for Nikki. They said, all right, Nikki, we need a seat in the House. Let's carve out a piece of Illinois. We'll hand you that territory, and that's how we get you in there. That is not how you represent constituents in government. You have Regan Deering, who is running for this race, and she is a homegrown, wonderful candidate for Illinois to send to the House and represent real people here. And folks, this is a leans Democrat district. It's one of those that if the red wave even reaches some level of notability, it's going to take her race and make it red. But you got to show up and you got to do something about it. So Ted Cruz is doing a bus tour. He has been in St. Louis before to stump for Eric Schmidt. Everybody knows that we like Eric Schmidt on this show, like him as Attorney General. I'm looking at Missouri going, get the Attorney General thing right when he becomes a senator. Because what he's been able to do in Missouri as the Attorney General, partner that with Ted Cruz's Attorney General in the state of Texas, Ken Paxton, and you have people who have pushed back against tyrannical big government, overreach from people like Joe Biden and the people who he's got in there trying to make crazy laws or executive orders that want to run your life. Ted Cruz will be able to speak to that, and I'm excited to hear what he has to say. Again, the Convention of the States, the last time we had him on, last time Rick Santorum was on was the end of August. It was the same day Tyrus was in the studio. And so the interview didn't get overshadowed, but we talked about it, and then Tyrus came in, and then we did Tyrus things. But the concept of a convention of states is one that I hear some people incredibly passionate for, like ready to do it right now. Other people have trepidation about it. They feel like it's a can of worms. They feel like if we engage in a convention of states and you do convene all of those people, that it could get out of hand very quickly. I'm going to ask those questions to Rick Santorum so that you could feel like you have a firm grasp on what a convention of states even is. And if you're hearing that term for the first time, you're in the right place, because it's a very awesome constitutional piece that exists that once again creates a layer of government that protects the American people from the government. And that's kind of like, that's about as American as it gets. Did you decide last time, because our poll that day was, would you support a convention of states? You were somebody who, before that interview, said that you had some skepticism about where, if you start that process, where you start it and where it ends could be very different.
Right, and what boundaries could be drawn. And the boundaries that the way that Mr. Santorum explained it, I am now more for a convention of states than I was before that. I was kind of against it because I didn't want to lose any of the good stuff that we had and have a, what do they call it, a runaway convention or anything like that. But the way he described it, it doesn't work that way. You don't have a runaway convention.
And we'll ask him those questions once again. I'm going to try to do a lot of not backtracking, but reestablishing of what the concept is, because I do think that if it's a conversation that's going to continue to come up, it does come up with more frequency as we continue to watch a far left version of this Democrat Party push their ideals onto American citizens across the states. You get these heavy-handed federal government dictates and the amount of money that they are out there spending of yours for things that you never, ever would have supported or believed that your tax dollars are better off serving that purpose than feeding your family when inflation is above 8% and supply issues still remain and minimum wage is so high that people can like pick and choose which job they want to work for, but then not afford the things when inflation goes up. You're telling me that minimum wage and an increased agreed upon minimum wage, national minimum wage is the right way to go. It still doesn't solve the problems of affordability. And if you think that putting more money in people's pockets is just the answer, you have to address all of the rising costs. If you get paid $5 an hour and something costs $10, you need to work 2 hours in order to afford that thing that costs $10. If they now double your pay and you make $10 an hour, but now the thing costs $25 an hour, you've got to work 2.5 hours in order to afford said item. That doesn't make anybody's life easier. In fact, it makes it harder because it's more difficult for you to afford said item, and it's more difficult for the employer to employ you. That is a double-edged sword that people don't tend to talk about. Ted Cruz I'm going to talk to him a little bit about justice in our country. We had Matt Whitaker in studio yesterday. Yeah, I can't even keep up with all of this. This is great stuff.
Yeah.
Matt Whitaker, former acting attorney general for the United States under President Trump, in between Jeff Sessions and Bill Barr. Matt, I should have told him this yesterday. He might have been my favorite Trump AG. If you want to stop and think about it.
He was mine.
Yeah. And he was great. He's a Cardinals fan.
Yes.
And I remember after he said that, I was like, I remember him saying this last time we talked. So we lamented that together. But if we talk to him about what the justice system looks like in this country for people who are on the wrong end of the thought machine that exists from the politicians down to us, where if you espouse any type of thought or opinion that puts you on the other side of the aisle, you think there's an algorithm out there that has you marked as somebody who's like a risk?
Me personally?
Do you?
Oh, I'm sure there's a flag or two on my account. Not for anything like outrageous that I've said, but I am very much a conservative. I espouse conservative views, and I get into Twitter fights and discussions and debates over conservative things. And so that has to show up on the radar of somebody.
Yeah, I would think so. I think that if you're, I would assume that the algorithms that exist in the social media world, which honestly is a digital resume of sorts of who you are. And you have to understand how much commerce is based upon exactly that. If they identify that, I mean, they can scan photographs that you post, identify with the metadata where you took the picture, what you took the picture of, what might be visible in that photo, and they tag your photos with keywords that they then utilize to send you ads of things you may buy. What another thing they do. So, for instance, Christmas is coming, of course. My husband's birthday is in January. Our anniversary is in September. My birthday's in April. In March sometime, they will serve my husband ads of things that they think that I may like to have so that he buys things leading into the time that my birthday would be. When our anniversary is coming around, if they know that in September we have our anniversary, Facebook will know to send him ads of things that I might like and me ads of things that he might like so that we potentially buy them. They use all of this information to sell you things. They certainly, if they're cultivating all of that information, they certainly are going to cultivate an understanding of who you are as a conservative, as a political figure, as a liberal, as a Democrat, as somebody who is super into the vaccine, as somebody who is super into like prepping, because people are selling those products on Facebook, and the more data they can collect on you, the better they can sell you stuff. You got to know that in all of that is your political lean. If they're collecting it to sell advertisements, what else are they using it for 27 days out from an election? I'd like to know. Is that something that we could find out through a Senate hearing? Is that something that we could find out through a House hearing? Is that something that our government should be investigating? I actually do think it is. So Senator Ted Cruz is going to be on with us at 1:25 today. Excited to have him on and be a part of the Annie Frey Show for the first time. And we'll talk to him after we talk to Rick Santorum at 12:45. and Deroy Murdock at 105. And yes, I know, you're here for Wiggins America. And Rick Santorum said, I'll only do the interview if I can do it instead of Wiggins America. And we said, fine, it's all yours, but we're going to do Wiggins America at 1:45. So you will still get your dose of Wiggins America, just an hour late. So it's like on, what is that, Mountain Time?
Yep, Mountain Time.
I got to think about that. Let's take a quick break. I want to remind you we have a YouTube poll. We do a YouTube live chat poll every single day. And I'm really interested in the comments that you might feel comfortable posting after you go vote. It's a simple poll. Are you religious? Yes, no, or undecided? You can define that for us if you like in the comments. You don't have to. But I'd love to know how much of this audience defines themselves as being religious or not religious at all. Give us a vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. We'll cover that at 2:45 with Hannah and the results. When we come back, let's get to the news of the day, the big things that are happening, and set ourselves up for that 12:45 conversation with Rick Santorum. We'll be right back.
I know what you're doing, and it's not gonna work this time.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
I know that the equity in your home over the course of time has likely increased, but so have those rates on those credit cards. And if you are facing a disproportionate amount of credit card debt to what you are able to sustain, paying that interest every month and looking, have you looked at what you pay, the dollar amount in interest each month to maintain that credit card debt? It might make your jaw drop. And if you think about how you can use the bagel loan, it's not going to cost you a dime to use the bagel loan. There's no fees. When you go to Stewart's American Mortgage and you refinance your mortgage to take some of the equity that you have in your house out to pay down that high interest credit card debt, rates are a little bit higher now than they've been before, but when you compare the rates that are there right now that you can get on your mortgage to the rates that you're paying on your credit card, you can refinance again with the bagel loan when those rates go back down. I have refinanced twice with Stewie, and I want you to consider it for your personal situation as well. When you reach out to Stewie, tell him what you're dealing with, what you're trying to accomplish, and he'll tell you if and how he can help you. 314-324-4440. That's 314-324-4440. Call or text. Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomes.louis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. And check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com. Chris Buys Homes in stlouis.com or call 314-782-8000.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit. The preferred window of the St. Louis Blues, 314-993-1800 windowworld.com.
Hey guys, Glover here with my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys that I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit, and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
The thing I like about Tulsi is that if she were to give you two opinions, you could not predict a third one. Right? She's the definition of an individual. I disagree with her on probably at least 30%, maybe 40% of the things. But the boxes she ticks aren't the boxes that Kamala ticks. Her boxes are achievements and ideas. That's different than skin color and where she was born. And no, not where she was born, but whatever her background is. So I think it's real. I think that is what makes her so different. I've never seen her angry in my life. No. And just lastly, I think she's going to be Trump's VP. So that's where this is going.
People were suggesting that yesterday because yesterday's poll was, would you support Tulsi Gabbard for president? And at about 2:50 yesterday, with over 200 votes on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll, we had 50-50% yes and no. Brad and I both indicated why we would not support her for president, and then it ticked towards the end about 54-46 in favor of no. But clearly, there's still people out there who are saying, I'd vote for her for president. What do you think, Brad, about Tulsi Gabbard as Trump's VP?
That makes her one heartbeat away from president. And so if I didn't support her for president, I don't support her for vice president.
Would you support Donald Trump any less for president if he were the nominee because Tulsi was the VP?
Oh, that would give me pause. But because I know they're going to come after him again. And I think that
they never stopped.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, like with an impeachment.
Yeah.
And I just don't want Tulsi Gabbard in the White House.
Gavin Newsom is his opponent.
You making this worse and worse and worse.
That's the state of the country.
Yeah, well, you know what
I'm sorry. This is where we are.
That makes me feel like I would at that point I'm going with the unknown.
You're voting for Trump.
Yeah, I'm going with the unknown quantity and the risk of Tulsi Gabbard being president over the absolute disaster that a Gavin Newsom presidency would be. But I'm less enthusiastic about it.
Tulsi Gabbard makes that a more electable ticket.
It sure does. She sure does.
And I think that of all of the people who could run on the Republican ticket, Donald Trump will have the hardest path to victory. I still think he could win. Mm-hmm. Donald Trump would have the hardest path to victory, and a Tulsi Gabbard representation on that ticket, in my opinion, softens the harshness of a Trump ticket.
Oh, I think it does. And I also, I just saw this on the chat, but I think that the prospect of Tulsi Gabbard being the first woman president would stick in the craw of a lot of Democrats. They couldn't stomach that thought.
So they wouldn't impeach Trump.
So maybe they wouldn't impeach Trump. So.
I find it to be interesting. I can't imagine that if Donald Trump does choose to run, I'm still standing by my thought that I don't think he is. And at this point, it's just because nobody else is saying it. I actually do believe that, but I am very prepared to be wrong on that. I think that's an unconventional prediction. And I've said before, I'll say it again. I think he's not going to run because I think his family's not going to run because I think his family is going to plead with him not to. I think his family wants to move into the next phase of their own life and potentially be very supportive of who the Trump family coalesces around and be involved as much as they choose to be, but not as much as they would be obligated to be should Donald Trump run again. But I definitely think it will be on his own terms. And I think that he will do a whole thing about it. And he should. I mean, imagine a scenario. Ron DeSantis is my guy. But imagine a scenario where there is a big rally in Florida post-midterm election. God, he better wait. He better wait. He better wait to say anything and not step into that spotlight in these next 27 days. But imagine a scenario in Florida where there's a big rally and people are coming to that rally in Florida. And Donald Trump is speaking there to kick off the campaign to take back the presidency, and Donald Trump is there. And he announces his endorsement of Ron DeSantis, and Ron DeSantis comes out of the background to the crowd in Florida. I've got goosebumps thinking about this. I could cry thinking about this because it would be so good for the future. But imagine the scenario where he is in the state of Florida, where it is his home, and he says, we're taking back the White House, you're taking back the White House, I'm taking back the White House, and it's going to be Ron DeSantis' White House. And Ron DeSantis comes out, and it would melt the Democratic Party in that moment. They want nothing more than Donald Trump to run.
Absolutely. Because he's all they have to run against.
That's what they're running against now in the midterm, which is why he needs to stay the heck out of the midterm race. Let's just sit here and think about this.
we got
hey,
to
guys,
do
I
a
need
radio
moment.
show.
Yeah, I wish we had some like elevator music so I could sit here and think about that existence. And oh, it would be so wonderful. And if Trump decides to do that on his own, and he does it on his own terms, the Trump people aren't going to be mad at Trump for making a decision for Trump.
No.
That's kind of like the whole thing. It's about Trump. I get it. I think if Donald Trump wants to ensure 8 years of prosperity for the country, he's going to have some conversations with Ron DeSantis about what his expectations are to step aside. And I think that's going to include a massive reform of the Justice Department, among other places. And Ron DeSantis can go in there and do that.
Oh, yeah.
Can't he appoint Trump to be like some chief dude?
He could put him. He could make him the attorney general and put him in charge of the entire Justice Department. Now he would have to get through a. Do
you have to be an attorney?
I don't know.
I don't know either. You'd have to get through a confirmation.
Maybe he'd just go to Trump University and get himself a law degree.
I'm going to talk to Ted Cruz about this when he's on with us in an hour, a little less than an hour. But the map, we've discussed this before on the show, the map for Republicans in the Senate right now is incredibly unfavorable. The Democrats only have to win about a third of the seats that are up right now in order to status quo. And then if they pick off one or two here, I mean, the balance is 50-50 right now. One seat is a huge difference. If you look at the map of the third of the Senate, every 2 years, a third of the Senate is up for re-election because they serve 6-year terms. If you look at the map of the Senate right now and who has to be re-elected or who is running, what seats are open in 2022, the Democrats have a lot of opportunities to defeat Republicans who are currently in there and flip seats. Folks, 2024 is a huge year for Republicans. It's the opposite. The way Republicans have an opportunity in a presidential year, think about this. Gosh, I got to scoot back I might have to stand up.
Okay.
Let's go.
Y'all want to stand up too.
Think about kickoff in Mar-a-Lago with Donald Trump having a huge rally for himself where he endorses Ron DeSantis, and here we go. Hold on tight. It's going to be a wild ride. That ticket, the Ron DeSantis ticket, where he can point to receipt after receipt after receipt of what he has done in Florida in the face of ridiculous leftist control that is being employed in other states. And he's got the numbers to prove that Florida did just fine compared to their blue states when it came to COVID mitigations. And Florida said, we're open for business. And Illinois, I think technically Illinois' state of emergency is still in play. I don't think that's been rescinded. I'll look it up.
Yeah, I feel like I just heard something about that not too long ago.
That it ended?
Yeah, but I could be wrong. Like they failed to ratify it, but they might still be. I don't know.
We'll look it up. But if you look at how long Florida lasted under the rule that Illinoisans lasted, I was in Florida in June of 2020, the first weekend in June. My brother-in-law and sister-in-law live in Jacksonville, and they said, we're opening up. I think it was June 3rd or something that they said that they were opening up. My husband and I looked at each other like, let's go to Florida. And so we drove down to Florida, and we just visited with them. We went to the beach, did Florida fun things, hung out with people, with family, went to restaurants, and it was normal. It was normal. And it was so uncanny. Just March, April, May, like 2 months after everything had shut down in Illinois the way it had shut down, just 2 months passed, and we go to Florida, and they're normal there, and at that point, normal felt weird. But Florida said, we're getting back to normal as fast as we possibly can. And they did.
We're still under it.
That's what I thought.
Yes. So what I saw, September 16th, he reissued the proclamation.
It's unbelievable. J.B. Pritzker is a tyrant.
Eyes on. It looks like it's been the 16th of every month. So in 4 days, we'll find out if we're still under it.
You want to book him on the show?
J.B. Pritzker?
And Nikki Budzinski.
Yeah, both of them. I'm working on it.
Okay. Did you reach out to Nikki yet?
I found a contact for info, but not a media contact
Send
yet.
them all.
Yep, I will send them all.
The 2024 presidential ticket, Ron DeSantis and whomever, against whatever the Democrats have to offer, which is going to have to be a referendum on President Biden, but every blue state that held its people back and stole their freedom away from them. Ron DeSantis is the embodiment of what the American spirit is right now, because he was the one who was in the position to do something about it when it really mattered, and he did, in the face of great adversity. Ron DeSantis, on the top of the ticket, with an incredibly favorable landscape for Republicans to take seats in 2024. Oh, that's the Democrats' nightmare, folks. And it's my dream. Let's make it happen. I'll ask Ted Cruz about the landscape of this race, as well as the importance in the House and in the Senate for Republicans to effectively take the majority. If that red wave is going to help them do it, if it's still going to be neck and neck, if he feels as though the momentum is in their favor. But we're going to talk to Ted Cruz about all of that at 1:25, and we do hope that you are here with us. You can stream us on the Odyssey app, AUDACY. If you're out to lunch right now, a reminder, just download that app real quick. You can follow 97.1 FM Talk and take St. Louis's Home for Conservative Talk with you every single place you go. We love your company. We know it's a choice, and we're always grateful when you choose us. Now, when we come back, let's talk a little convention of states with Rick Santorum in just a minute. Don't go away.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe. Mark Reardon Show.
George Ruzza, he is a Republican candidate for state senate.
This censorship almost going on, and people are uncomfortable saying where they are.
The cancel culture stuff.
The cancel culture stuff.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Illinois is my home. I know people right now who are looking to make Illinois their home. Yes, shocking, but still, here we are. Loving Illinois. If you're looking to purchase a home in the state of Illinois, right across the river here in the Madison County area, if you're looking in Edwardsville, Glen Carbon, Maryville, Troy, Collinsville, do you want the very best to help you through that process, to keep it as stress-free as possible, to help you get the best price, whether you're buying or selling? Jen Teske. It's that simple. Jen Teske with RE/MAX Alliance, a premier name on the Metro East side of the river. Jen Teske is the best. Go with her and get the process started now. 618-541-1010. If you're not ready to buy immediately, or if you are thinking, I need to sell in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months, not quite ready to go there, have a conversation with Jen Teske and see what things you may need to do to position your house the best to sell, or things that you think you need to do that Jen's going to say, don't even worry about it. She's got an amazing staff that's working around the clock to make sure that you have the best experience that you will rave about to all your friends when you buy and sell that home fast. 618-541-1010. That's 618-541-1010.
Odyssey celebrates Hispanic Heritage Month and the trailblazers who made their mark worldwide. Ellen Ochoa became the first ever Hispanic astronaut in 1990 and the first Latina to be launched into space. In total, Ellen has been on 4 space flights and has logged more than 950 space hours. Odyssey salutes Ellen Ochoa for her contributions to the space program on National Hispanic Heritage Month. More on the Odyssey app and celebrate the sounds and stories of Hispanic heritage at odyssey.com/HHM.
When you're approaching retirement, there are a lot of questions to answer. Do you have enough money to fund your income for life? How should you claim Social Security? And what's your plan for health care and long-term care? Hi, I'm Eric Robert, Director of Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Don't leave your retirement to chance. It's crucial to understand and address relevant risks before you retire. Our team can help you get organized, guide you through critical retirement decisions, and create an investment portfolio designed around your needs. To schedule your free retirement plan consultation, go to clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com. Or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas and Company Incorporated, member SIPC and NYSE.
For the best service after the sale, go to the experts who know your car best, Bomarito. We sell and service every make and model at our state-of-the-art facility, so we have the best factory-certified technicians. We'll get you scheduled, repaired, and back on the road fast. Set your appointment on the Bomarito app or at bomarito.com, and remember, a free wash is on me when you visit. A better experience, a better price. Go with the automotive leader, Bomarito, Missouri's #1 automotive group. Open 24/7 at bomarito.com.
This month's Zero Res special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
Hi, my name is Curtis Barks with Complete Auto Body and Repair. In honor of our newest location in Cottleville, for any new customers, simply come into any of our 6 locations and ask us to pay the first $50, and we will. That's right. That means brakes, suspension, alignments, air conditioning, even our auto body work. Please come see our team or visit us at CompleteAB.com. If it's not perfect, it's not complete. Others can't compete with Complete Auto Body.
Dad, and service.
Oh yeah, and service.
He fixes cars.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Decision 2022 on 97.1 FM Talk.
For every breath I take, I won't take it for granted. So I learn from my mistakes. It's beyond my control. Sometimes it's best to let go. Whatever happens in this lifetime. So I trust in love. You have given me peace of mind.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
I can't deny you. I feel so alive for the very first time, and I think I can fly.
When you look at our most recent NBC poll here and you ask folks, what is the single most important issue that's going to drive your vote in this year's midterm elections? A combined 34% cite either jobs in the economy or inflation. And you combine those two, that's the biggest single number you're going to get. And on that question, the Republicans have a nearly 30-point advantage over the Democrats.
Do you ever look at your government and think, man, this is getting out of control? I think a lot of voters are doing that at this point in time right now, while we are just less than 4 weeks out from Election Day. In the state of Illinois, you can vote already. If you are looking at your government right now and thinking it has gotten to the point where it is out of control and something needs to be done about it, have you heard of a convention of states? Well, that's what our next guest is here to talk to us about, and we're excited to have him back on the show. Rick Santorum with the Convention of States Project. Welcome back, Rick. Thank you so much for being here with us today.
My pleasure, Annie. Thank you for having me on again.
Of course. Now, I want to give you the opportunity to talk in a very basic level what a convention of states is. It's something that people have buzzed about a little bit more lately than before, but you got to kind of be in the constitutional nerddom in order to understand what this is, but it has an application that would affect everybody.
Yeah, it is constitutional nerddom because it is in the Constitution. If people don't realize that there are two ways to propose amendments to the Constitution and send those proposed amendments to the state legislatures for ratification. One that has been used in the past for every other constitutional amendment that's happened, which is the Congress proposing it. But Article 5 of the Constitution provides a second method. It was a method that was put in right at the end of the convention when the delegates realized that the only people that could amend the federal Constitution would be the Congress, and leaving the power in the Congress to, in a sense, address problems in Washington would leave out the people. And so they decided that they would give the state legislatures the ability to propose to call a convention to propose amendments. And that's what a convention of states is. It's a convention under Article 5 to call all the states together to propose amendments. And to do that, you have to get the state legislatures in 2/3 of the states, which is 34 states, to agree on a grounds for calling a convention. In other words, you can't just say, oh, we're going to call a convention for any reason. You have to specifically say, what's the convention for? And so what we're proposing, and 19 states, including the state of Missouri, have agreed to is a convention to limit the terms of federal office holder, to limit the power of the federal government or jurisdiction of things they can act on, and to limit the spending and taxation of the federal government. So those are the three areas that if a convention is called, the convention would be limited to proposing amendments to do those three things. There could be all different kinds of amendments, but they would be limited to that scope.
So talk to me a little bit more. Speaking with Rick Santorum right now, he's with the Convention of States Project. You can go to conventionofstates.com, as I am right now on their website. It's very informative. Those three key issues. Talk to me about what is the application of those three issues that a convention of states could come together? What kind of difference could they actually make?
Yeah. So the great thing is that once all 50 states would participate at the convention, it'd be a national convention. In other words, the state legislatures would appoint delegates. So they'd have delegations that would come. They'd be called at some. We don't know where, but at some location where the delegates would come, it would be nationally televised. It would be the biggest thing that happened in this country in a long, long time. We're sitting there having a debate about how we're going to reframe the federal government to limit its power, to put more power back in the hands of the people, back in the hands of the states. And there'll be all sorts of ideas. For example, one that I think could probably pass and actually get ratified by the states is to limit the Supreme Court to 9 people. That would be one idea that I think certainly all Republicans would support. I don't even think most Democrats would realize that packing the court is a losing battle for whoever tries to do it. And putting that in the Constitution would be a good thing that creates stability for the country. But there could be many other things. For example, putting a limit on a balanced budget amendment, for example, or a limitation on the amount of taxes you can do, or a limitation on how much you can spend versus the size of the economy, a GDP type of thing. You could put a limitation on the jurisdiction of the government. For example, one of the things that I know most people are really concerned about is the impact of the federal government and imposing woke educational ideas on our primary and secondary schools. So if you look at the original Constitution, there's no authority under the Constitution for the federal government to be involved in education, but the courts have opened that up. Well, we can close it back down. Education was supposed to be a state and local function. We can now specifically limit this to a state and local function through a constitutional amendment.
So, one of the comments I have here from Al, who's listening to our conversation on the Annie Frey YouTube channel, is, would we still be united? Do you feel as though a convention of states, Rick Santorum, would bring the country together or potentially rip it apart?
Yeah, I think this is the last best hope for a country to survive. I think we are so divided as a nation right now And by the way, that's typical. That's the norm. Everybody, particularly somebody my age, I'm in my 60s, we think back of, a time when I was younger where the country was very united. That's abnormal. I mean, our country, if you just go back throughout history, we've always been very divided. Even at the founding, the division between all of the different colonies was so profound. They had real difficulties getting anything done. There were real sharp divisions. And so what they figured out is the only way we can hold a country that's this vast and is this diverse is federalism. In other words, limiting the power of the central government to impose its will on everybody and allowing a smaller federal government and allowing the states to pursue their own thing. So if you want to be a woke, crazy liberal, well, you can move to California, you can move to New York or Connecticut. But if you believe in traditional values and conservative principles, you can move to Missouri, you can move to Arkansas. There are all sorts of opportunities in a vast country like this to sort of hold the country together on broad themes, but allow a lot of diversity in the way people live their lives within the states. And the only way you do this is to limit the federal government's reach to impose national kinds of legislation and regulations on the population.
We're speaking with Rick Santorum about his Convention of States project. That conversation has come up a lot more as government has expanded, both under Republicans and Democrats, I might add.
Yeah, that's the problem.
Is the Convention of States the Constitution of the Founding Fathers in case of an emergency break glass moment? Like you said, it's kind of the last hope. Is this where we're putting it all on the line with something like this?
It is exactly the case. I mean, the founders at the time of the debate during the Constitutional Convention of Philadelphia really did, if you look at all of the writings afterwards, it was one of the few amendments to the Constitution that was offered that was agreed to unanimously by every state. It may be the only one. And it was the whole understanding was that at some point they knew, because every republic in the history of the world lasted a couple hundred years, and it collapsed from within because of tyranny, because of a dictator or a tyrant taking over and imposing their will. And they realized that at some point in the future that the federal government would get out of control and power would accumulate in one particular office, whether it was a king or an emperor or president, and that would be the end of the republic, because it's always happened. So they put together a provision that said, we're going to give the ultimate check on federal power to the state legislatures. And I think they'd be amazed. Here we are with this incredible centralization of power and abuse of power and $31 trillion in debt that the state legislators have sat on their hand, complain about Washington. If you talk to any state legislator, they'll complain about, Washington does too much and does this and it's out of control and spends too much money, but they never do anything about it. Now it's a chance to do something about it.
Rick Santorum with us right now, speaking about the Convention of States project with which he works. And you can learn more about this project, his involvement in it, at conventionofstatesproject.com. Another question that was posed here, I think is a key one that people want to have a clear understanding about, is how could a convention of states potentially put the Second Amendment at risk, if at all?
It can't. I mean, it simply can't. Number one, you're limited to amendments that limit the power of the federal government. If you did something, you could change the Second Amendment to strengthen it. You could be more specific about it being an individual right, because that would limit the power of the federal government vis-a-vis gun owners. But you couldn't do something to increase the federal authority over gun ownership. So that would not be permitted at the convention. But let's say people for some reason broke it. Well, number one, 34 of the states, in order to pass this, 34 states have to approve the resolution. And it's overwhelmingly, I mean, we get a handful of Democrats sometimes in states, but no state with a Democratic legislature has ever approved this. So to get 34, that means that 34 of the legislatures at the time of the convention being called would be controlled by Republicans. Well, that's highly unlikely that if you have 34 Republican-controlled delegations out of 50, there's going to be an amendment to limit, to restrict the Second Amendment. And finally, even if that happens, which it won't, even if that happened, then that proposed amendment has to go to the states, and 38 states have to ratify. What does that mean? that means both legislatures in all 38 states have to ratify it. So 13 states where one chamber of the legislature says no stops any amendment from happening. So again, it's just the idea that anything could be put in place to limit that would go the wrong way for conservative. Here's the cool thing. It's from a conservative or Republican point of view, doing something that involves the state legislatures, it leans toward conservatives and Republicans. Why? Because there's so many small states that outnumber the big states, and each state's only one vote. And so that's why if you look at the country and you at election time and you see a map of Republican and Democrat votes, you see this huge red country with little dense pockets of blue. But when it comes to a convention, that really matters because all those red areas are represented equally into the blue area.
That is such a key point, I think, going into discussing this convention of state idea. I want people to go to conventionofstates.com and learn more about what Rick Santorum has discussed with us here. Please come back with us, Rick, and continue to talk about this. I have so many more questions, and I'm up against a hard break. So
Thank you so much, Annie.
We'll do it again soon. Thank you, Rick. Appreciate your time.
Look forward to it. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. The Convention of States Project. You can go to Convention of States on Twitter at Convention of States and conventionofstates.com. Boy, if it doesn't make it more clear that you need to pay attention to who is in your state legislature. Missouri, you got that under control. Illinois, step up to the plate. Like we said yesterday, Kevin Schmidt against LaToya Greenwood in the 114th, I think it is. Kevin Schmidt for president. And if you know, you know. If you don't, go back and listen to the last segment of yesterday's show. Ashley Hunsaker, Jen Cordy, these are great people. Let's flip this state. Back in a minute.
Procrastination. We've all been there. But have you been dragging your feet when it comes to creating your retirement plan? I've heard it all from, I have time before I need to make a decision, or I'll eliminate debt first and then get ready for retirement. I've seen far too many people waste valuable time for their retirement planning, and I don't want you to be one of them. Hi, I'm Ken Heisey with Heisey Advisory Group. I'm on a mission to help people recognize the potential destructive impact procrastination can have on their retirement plan. Don't procrastinate. Call us today at 314-328-6000 to ensure you get on the right path toward your retirement dream. 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC.
One of the things about Gateway ENT that I appreciate so much is their patient-centered practice. They are a very well-established with the best ENTs, the best ear, nose, and throat doctors in the St. Louis area, serving people of all ages, babies as well. Gateway ENT has the process down. They know how to provide you with the best medical care, but also with great customer service. You ever feel like when you go in to deal with something in healthcare, it's just kind of always, it's just an anxiety surrounding it. It's confusing. You don't know if what you're being referred always is the best thing for you. Maybe it's the best thing for the doctor. The industry is complicated. That's why I dug into what Gateway ENT is. They have the best providers, and they surround that with the best customer service experience. That matters, too. If you have an ear, nose, or throat issue, please go to the people who will fix that and diagnose that for you wonderfully. 314-843-3828, gatewaydrs.com.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Clarification from the White House. Lisa Brady, Fox News. After President Biden said if there's a recession, it'll be very slight, spokeswoman Karine Jean-Pierre says he still doesn't think there will be a recession.
The president wants the American people to know that because of America's resilience and because of the president's economic plan that we have seen throughout the 20 months, we are in a stronger position than any other country to navigate these global challenges.
The president's now in Colorado with other stops planned in California California and Oregon later this week, focusing in part on his economic agenda, including infrastructure work. Meantime, the latest reading on inflation coming in hotter than expected at the wholesale level, up 0.4% in September and 8.5% year over year. Kids ages 5 to 11 can now get the updated COVID booster shots. Both the CDC and the FDA signing off on the boosters for younger kids. They're aimed at better protection by also targeting Omicron variants. The Philadelphia mayor visiting injured police officers in the hospital after SWAT team members were shot early today while serving a warrant on a 19-year-old murder suspect.
I said before, I'll say it again. One life lost to senseless gun violence is one too many, and our city's families deserve to live safe from fear.
Mayor Jim Kenney holding a briefing on anti-violence efforts underway citywide. The murder suspect was killed this morning in return fire. 3 officers were injured.
The most seriously injured was shot in the chest. He is at a local hospital in guarded but stable condition. The 2 others hit in the leg and the hip are in good condition. All of them were wearing their protective vests.
Fox's David Lee Miller. An assault suspect is free in New York City, released without bail a day after turning herself in as part of a group wearing neon green suits when they attacked people on a subway train earlier this month. The woman's attorney says she didn't assault anyone. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Tired of companies like Google and Facebook watching everything you do online? There's actually a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Still the chance of a couple of spotty showers, even a thunderstorm going through the afternoon. Otherwise, it's a mix of clouds and sunshine. 72 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Let's eventually drop it back to 45. Spectacular weather Thursday and Friday. Sunny and cool. 65 each day. The weekend looks great. 72 on Saturday. 65 Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mining for truth in a landscape of BS.
One year, the first test came back with scores in an upside-down bell curve. The students either wrote a nearly perfect exam or missed almost everything. There were very few in the middle.
Mark Reardon.
I asked students each to write an anonymous paragraph about how they had studied for the test. Some of the students who had done poorly said things like, "That's a lot of work."
Your home for conservative talk.
This is what's happening in academia around the country.
97.1 FM Talk.
So October 27th, you want to come join me at the Vitae event in St. Charles. They have an annual event each year, and I am so proud to be a part of this. I'm going to be hosting it for you and welcoming the keynote speaker, Abby Johnson. Abby Johnson is a well-known, outspoken pro-life voice. She has worked in an abortion facility before, and she had a pretty drastic change in her approach to abortion. She is now very pro-life and very outspoken, and they hate it. But we love it because she has a true, unique perspective on what this country is doing, and she is proudly and boldly speaking on it. Be a part of this night, this important evening where we come together to really make a difference in the lives of women who find themselves in a situation where they may consider abortion. Be a part of the solution about the future that they have and providing a future and the information that they need, of course, in that stressful time. What you need to do to get your tickets for the October 27th St. Charles event, you can find all the details online at adsforlife.org.
I'm back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
I was in foot pain for 20 years, trying to give it relief, buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products, and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet, and the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
CertaPro painters have powers far beyond those of ordinary painters. For example, they have the power of reliability, the power of doing it right, and the power of fresh color. And this is a great time to spruce up the interior of your home with a fresh coat of paint, and CertaPro can help. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated. For your home or business, CertaPro can knock out a great painting project for you. CertaPro painters, the power of pro. Schedule your free estimate at CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C. CertaPro painters, proven and trusted experts in painting.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group at 314-993-9494. He'll show you how to participate in the market gains without ever losing a penny. Thomas is the official financial advisor of the Mark Cox Morning Show.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
Marlowe Heat Transfer Solutions, located in High Ridge, Missouri, is now hiring enthusiastic, energetic, and fun people to join their team. Marlowe Heat Transfer Solutions, a certified great place to work. Go to marlowecoil.com to find the latest openings. That's marlowecoil.com.
Odyssey.com is a universe of audio, and it's where you can download the app to stream 97.1 FM Talk. The Odyssey app. Download it today and stream anytime from anywhere.
Where St. Louis comes to talk.
97.1 FM Talk.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Plan is the most bold, aggressive plan this country's ever seen for a state to take back control of its border. And that's what we intend to do starting on day one. We're going to invoke our Article 1, Section 10 powers in the United States Constitution. Obviously, Joe Biden is a complete failure. He cares more about the cartels than the good people of this country. And so we're going to take control of our border. The Article 4, Section 4, the Guarantee Clause, requires the federal government to protect us from invasion. They are not doing that. Article 1, Section 10 is the remedy, and we are going to do that.
Carrie Lake in Arizona, running for governor there, talking about the abdication of duty that the administration has had on our southern border. Now, she's running on saying she's going to work to fix it if you vote for her to be the governor in Arizona. But it does identify something that's very important because it's not specific just to the state of Arizona. What this administration has done to our country via our southern border is entirely going to have a long-lasting effect on the future of this country as a sovereign nation. And every day that goes by that we don't do something to rectify this really, really gross negligence by this administration, I fear it's going to be more and more difficult to put it all back in the box once again. Let's get some thoughts from Deroy Murdock on this issue. He's a nationally syndicated columnist. He's a Fox News contributor as well. Deroy, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show.
Hi, Annie. Great to be with you again.
Great to be with you as well. How much do Americans need to pin what is taking place on the southern border directly on the Biden administration?
Completely. Look, they easily, if Joe Biden wanted, he could have come in and said, look, I disagree with Donald J. Trump on a whole lot of things, but he had the border correct. We're going to leave the stay in Mexico policy in place. We're going to leave in place the agreements with Honduras, Guatemala, and El Salvador in terms of limiting the number of people who could come in from those countries. We could have left in place the 7,000 Mexican troops on their side of the border who are keeping people from coming up and running across. He could have either finished the wall in addition to those things, or at least done those things for starters. And instead, he's done exactly the opposite. Day one, as he arrived, he ended those policies. The Remain in Mexico was thrown out. The agreements that Central American countries, those were thrown out. Mexico saw that, but, well, if that's your attitude, we're going to take our troops away from the border. And then Title 42, which allowed the DHS to deport illegal aliens because of fear of COVID, et cetera, that got tossed out a few months ago. So they very deliberately have weakened our ability to keep people out of this country, turned upside down on its head the notion that if you want to come into this country, you got to show up at the embassy in your country, fill out a visa application, and wait for us to tell you, okay, we're ready for you to come in. In addition to that, the support and funding for Border Patrol has been weakened. He went on this big tirade against the Border Patrol, saying they're a bunch of racists for attacking and beating up a bunch of Haitians on horseback. The Border Patrol agents supposedly were whipping these people on the border, which didn't happen. They were just using their lassos to control their horses. Turns out we just discovered today that they knew this all along, but continued this big giant lie to embarrass and humiliate and smear the Border Patrol and demoralize the Border Patrol, even though they knew this wasn't true. These have been deliberate, witting, intentional policies on the part of Joe Biden and his administration. And my view is the reason that they're doing this is they want as many, as I call them, future Democrats of America to come into this country by the millions. And my guess, or my speculation, is that they believe that at some point these people will start voting. They probably will vote more Democrat than Republican, and that will give the Democrats a long-time, multi-generational edge in elections. I don't know if that'll happen or not. Maybe these people end up being Republicans if they end up voting. But I think that the Democrats believe they'll be more Democrat than not, and that this is being done solely for that purpose, which is to improve their electoral prospects in the future.
You know, we've seen so much criticism from the left and from the sympathetic left-leaning media outlets that really want to target the state of Texas and Governor Abbott, Ron DeSantis, for taking these migrants that are here and busing them or flying them to the bluest of blue places in our country. The people who are in charge right now have been busing people to all corners of the country for a long time now. They have been taking these people in the dead of night and dropping them in the backyards of unknowing tax-paying citizens for quite some time. But when the Republicans are doing it, the Republicans are accused of using these people as political props. The way that you're explaining here of how the Biden administration has handled this situation, the Democrats have absolutely used this issue for their own political benefit when it is convenient for them. But I haven't seen them ever look at the southern border and say, we've got a real problem here.
No, they don't do that at all. They don't say it's a problem. I think they see it as an opportunity. And as you say, the Democrats and the media, and forgive the redundancy, freaked out when Ron DeSantis sent a grand total of 50 people to that terrible hellhole, that the worst place of all in the country, Martha's Vineyard. I wish somebody would fly me to Martha's Vineyard. Those people got a free trip there. And by the way, if the people there had been as open-minded and welcoming and caring as they claim to be, these people would be living in mansions now. They'd be all thinking to themselves, "Wow, a week ago I was in a poverty-stricken jungle, and here I am now living in one of the wealthiest places in America. Boy, I really won the lotto." Nope. 24 hours later, these caring, open-minded people who have this sanctuary island got the National National Guard to pick these people up and get them out of there. They weren't even there for one day. But as you say, the Biden administration has been taking illegal aliens and putting them on airplanes, sending them on secret flights to Westchester County, very, very close to where I live here in New York City, and doing that in the middle of the night. The mayor of El Paso, who I believe is a Democrat, has had buses of illegal aliens being sent all around the country. So when the Democrats do the same thing, Governor DeSantis and Governor Abbott do, nobody says a word, but when the Republicans do the same exact thing, it's a human rights violation, it's proof of racism, they're using these people for political purposes, and on and on and on. The tremendous hypocrisy of the left to attack people on the right for doing precisely what they do is breathtaking. It sometimes just floors me how these people are able to do this.
So, we have Kari Lake in Arizona making this a state issue. And I've had the Attorney General here for the state of Missouri, Eric Schmidt, who's running for Senate, talk about this issue heavily, saying every state is a border state right now. Deroy Murdock with us on this particular issue. Deroy, how do you see a solution, a tangible solution here in the future, in the very near future, that could actually rectify some of this problem at the border?
Well, a couple of things. One is, I think going back to what Donald J. Trump did, which is finishing the border wall. I think in the interim, if Joe Biden's going to veto such a thing, if the GOP takes over the House and takes over the Senate, we'll see if that happens. I hope those things happen. Just putting every single spending bill says you will stop the nonsense on the border, or the entire federal government will not be funded. And if this means we have to have a shutdown over this, well, let's have a shutdown. I think certainly the 2024 election is going to be run on this issue, because my guess is Joe Biden will not see the light on this. They certainly can hold hearings on this and bring in various people from the Border Patrol, from border states, from all these various agencies, and just grill them on why they're doing this sort of stuff, and put a highlight on how big a problem this is. The drug smuggling, or the human smuggling cartels, have grown in revenue from $500 million in 2018 to $13 billion this year. That's a 2,500% increase. And out of curiosity, I want to see what U.S. company makes that kind of money. $13 billion. Guess which company makes $13 billion a year? The Fox Corporation, the parent of the Fox News Channel. Who would think? What an amazing coincidence. Fox made $12.9 billion last year and about $13.9 this year, so on average $13 billion. So what the Democrats actually have done is increase the revenue of the human smuggling cartels to the point where they now are as big as Tucker Carlson, Sean Hannity, and Laura Ingraham. Annie, you cannot make this up.
Yeah. It is wild. The news that is coming out here this afternoon is that the Biden administration's finally going to crack down on this migrant crisis, but not the way that you and I would expect. Well, maybe it's the way we'd expect them, not the way we want them to. The Treasury Department Inspector General confirmed in a letter to Democratic lawmakers, according to Fox News, that the agency is planning to audit whether spending by Florida Governor Ron DeSantis on migrant flights was improper. The lawmakers asked let's see here, just refreshed on me. The lawmakers are going to look in there and see, were there any federal funds used for this? And I guess if so, they're going to try to ding the Republican presidential hopeful at some point in his career. This is where this Biden administration says we need to focus our efforts. That's pretty wild.
Unbelievable. I mean, this is the equivalent of the house is on fire, and so you're going in and trying to decide whether to put blue or gray wallpaper in the powder room. I mean, unbelievable. Look, if this is a problem, then okay, great. Let's audit Joe Biden's spending and find out how much money was spent on these flights of illegal aliens and bus tickets for illegal aliens. I'm sure it's more money than DeSantis spent, if in fact he spent any federal money sending these people up to Martha's Vineyard, who, by the way, volunteered and agreed to go. They weren't kidnapped, as people like to say that this is some kind of human kidnapping situation. They wanted to go to Martha's Vineyard, and if you're coming from a poor, backward country, why wouldn't you want to go to Martha's Vineyard, for crying out loud? So yeah, if we're going to do audits, let's audit Joe Biden's spending on exactly what he's beating up on Governor DeSantis for doing.
Well, we need to make sure that we keep a spotlight on this issue. It's hard not to. And Deroy, you do such a wonderful job when you write about this, when you speak about this. So we're always grateful for your time. Thanks for being with us again today.
Okay, Annie. Thank you very much.
Right, bye-bye. Nationally syndicated columnist, Fox News contributor, Deroy Murdock. Brad, that news just happened to come about here right now. The lawmakers asked the Treasury Department to look into whether Florida improperly used American Rescue Plan funds for the migrant flights to Martha's Vineyard in Massachusetts, which drew widespread media attention. Florida lawmakers authorized $12 million in this migrant program funded with interest earnings from the federal coronavirus state fiscal recovery fund. Like that, of all of the things, Brad, of all of the things that COVID money has been for, they're finally going to crack down on what they consider to possibly be corruption.
Oh my gosh. What kind of clown world are we living in right now?
A Democrat-controlled one.
Yeah, this is a clown world, and this is a clown action, and it's purely political. Of course, DeSantis sending migrants to Martha's Vineyard was a political action, but what it did was it got everybody talking about the situation, which is exactly what they didn't want them to do.
Why do those immigrants belong in Florida and not Martha's Vineyard?
Great question. Here, I'll tell you why. Because they believe that those immigrants will eventually get the right to vote and they will turn a deep red state purple. Whereas if you send those immigrants to Martha's Vineyard, which is Massachusetts, if I'm not mistaken, that is a blue state and it will just not change the political calculus at all.
And they don't want them there.
I
think it's even simpler than that.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure on Martha's Vineyard. It's like, don't bring those people here.
All the people with the hate has no home.
Yeah.
Here.
Whoa.
Well,
you don't have no home here either.
You gotta
go.
You gotta read the really fine print. It's on the yard sign, but it's below the ground.
Yeah.
You gotta pull the sign out of the yard to see it. It's ridiculous.
So bad.
I can't wait to see what Ron DeSantis does next. I just can't wait. I got my popcorn and I'm on the edge of my seat. Let's take a quick break. Why? Well, because when we come back, we're going to speak with Senator Ted Cruz. We're going to talk to him about his bus tour as we are marching towards the midterm elections. We are getting very close, and Ted Cruz has something to say about it. He'll be with us on the Annie Frey Show next. Don't go away.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
I don't know where I went wrong. I can write a song. I belong with you. You belong with me, my sweetheart. I belong with you. You belong with
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
Michael's Flooring Outlet, the destination for St. Louisans to get flooring. When you are looking for the positive experience, it's an exciting thing to venture into if you're a homeowner, if you're looking to renovate the inside of your office, if you are looking to put new flooring in maybe your church. You want to make sure that you pair value and quality, and that's what you get at Michael's Flooring Outlet. Mohawk Smart Strand Carpeting. If you're looking for beautiful luxury vinyl plank flooring, if you're looking for hardwood, they've got it all at Michael's Flooring Outlet. And the thing that is so wonderful about them is the time that they have served the people of St. Louis here for over a quarter century in this area. People just like you. They're a family-owned and operated business. They've supported 97.1 here, St. Louis's home for conservative talk, for a long time. They're one of us. And when you are going to shop at Michael's Flooring Outlet, you're going to be working with people who support what we do here on this station. And I'm so grateful to be able to send you to see Michael's Flooring Outlet. You can find them online at igotfloored.com.
Hi, Sean Long for STL Fenceworks. For over 50 years, our time-honored commitment to quality, service, and affordability make STL Fenceworks the go-to authority for fence, deck, and leisure space projects. During these unsure times of severe inflation and supply shortages, you can depend on STL Fenceworks to meet your needs. Being the #1 fence and deck contractor in the state, we've leveraged our position to make contract buy-ins hedging against price increases. Also, our buying power has allowed us to stockpile fence and deck material. There are no shortages at STL Fenceworks. In fact, we have more fence and deck material on hand now than we have had at any time in our 50-year history. Lastly, our commitment to a quality and customer-first approach has never wavered. Your project will be completed by experienced craftsmen in a timely manner, and our lifetime warranty reinforces that commitment. STL Fenceworks warranty surpasses anything offered in the industry. Visit stlfenceworks.com and allow us to bring your backyard dreams to life. As always, at STL Fenceworks, your satisfaction is our passion.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
Surprise! Surprise! You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
This is a great time of the year to upgrade the energy efficiency in your home with my friends at Window World. Mark Cox here to tell you more about my experience with Window World. They replaced a couple of windows at my house. They were just panes of glass. We wanted to be able to get some airflow into the master bathroom. They came out, they gave us a free estimate, and then had the windows at seams installed in no time. Very professional, lifetime warranty I get, and you get an extra double strength glass on their replacement windows that's not common. So you're getting a great price, simply the best for less. They do front entry doors, rear entry doors if you're looking to replace that back door or sliding glass door in your home. They've got a great selection at Window World. They're also right now offering 18 months, same as cash financing, of course, with approved credit, the preferred window of the St. Louis Blues. 314-993-1800, windowworld.com.
The Dave Mungenass family of dealerships are celebrating the life and legacy of my grandfather, Dave Mungenass Sr., with our 5th annual Founding Fathers Sales Event. Hi, this is Jessica Mungenass. Come by and visit us at Dave Mungenass St. Louis Honda and the Dave Mungenass Pre-Owned Center of Banter, and you will receive a $150 gift card with the purchase of any pre-owned vehicle. Come see the difference, the Mungenass difference today. Shop us 24/7 at DaveMungenass.com since 1965.
When you're looking for the very best in haircuts, gentlemen, you go to Hair Saloon. It's pretty simple. Hairsaloon.com is the website that you check out to make your appointment. You can schedule that appointment right there online at hairsaloon.com and find a location near you. They got 16 of them, both sides of the river as well. So whether you are in one area or the other, check out who you can go get your haircut with. And when you go to Hair Saloon, you are going to get a perfect haircut every time. You're going to walk in and see that this is an environment that is catered to you. You can go into a lot of the drive-up, drop-in places to get your haircut. I know a lot of folks like to do that on a Saturday. That's like an experience that doesn't always result in a really relaxing exhale where you walk out looking fantastic. You kind of are uptight. That's not the case at Hair Saloon. It is relaxing. It is comforting. You get the perfect haircut. You get the hot towel, the mint, the shoe shine, the whole deal. And like I said, Hair Saloon believes that men deserve better. That's the entire premise behind the experience that men can enjoy when they go to Hair Saloon. Check out the 16 area locations right now. Make your appointment, hairsaloon.com.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
I've seen a lot of places. I've been around the world.
Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
After all I've witnessed, one thing still amazes me. Just like a miracle, you have to see to believe. 'Cause God bless Texas with his own hand, brought down angels from the promised land, gave them a place.
Ohio and publicly campaign with you in this final lap.
No, I won't be asking the president to come in, or very, very few, if any, national people, to come in and actually campaign with us, because I want to be the main face, the main messenger of this campaign. I grew up in Ohio. I'm Ohio in my bones. My wife is from just outside the Youngstown area like me. She's a 20-year public school teacher. Our kids go to public schools. Like, we're just, we're an Ohio family that wants to connect with other Ohioans. And I don't think anybody can come in, like Trump coming in for J.D. Vance actually was an absolute net negative for him. It's like, run your own race, stand on your own 2 feet. That's what Ohioans want. And that's what I'm going to do.
So it's funny that you can listen to the entire, explanation. These are all the reasons why I don't need Joe Biden. No, we know why you don't have Joe Biden, Tim Ryan. We understand that. And it's funny to me that you would try to define to Ohioans why Trump is a liability when Ohio votes for Trump. I mean, the numbers are clear. I think Ohio is squarely in the Republican category. I sure hope so. The balance of the Senate is incredibly important. In Missouri, we know that we have a fantastic candidate in Eric Schmidt, who is looking to fill the retiring Roy Blunt's seat in the United States Senate. Of course, me being from right across the river, we have a candidate, Kathy Salvi, who is challenging Tammy Duckworth. It would require quite a red wave to pull that off, but yet we have those options. There are close races around the country right now that we need to be paying attention to, and we need to make sure that we really push Eric Schmidt, who's been a fantastic attorney general for the state of Missouri, across the finish line, and make sure that people are paying attention throughout this process. Let's get to our guest. Senator Ted Cruz joins the Annie Frey Show now. Senator, it is an honor to have you on this show. Thank you so much for the time here today.
Annie, it's terrific to be with you. Thank you for having me.
So you are putting in the time, the effort here in October with a bus tour. You're driving all over the country. Every race matters. Talk to me about your bus tour and what you are hearing from real people, not the talking heads behind microphones and in front of cameras, real people about what matters in this midterm election.
Well, I think this election in November is extraordinarily important. The direction of our country is profoundly on the wrong track. And we're seeing people all across the country that are fed up. They're fed up with the disaster of the left-wing Biden agenda. They're fed up with out-of-control inflation, gas prices through the roof. They're fed up with crime that's out of control. And they're fed up with chaos at our southern border and the worst illegal immigration in 62 years. And I believe November is not just going to be a red wave. It's going to be a tsunami. I think Republicans are going to retake both the House and the Senate. And so for the entire month of October, I'm on a month-long 17-state bus tour, traveling all across the country doing rallies with candidates for the House and candidates for the Senate, trying to turn out conservatives, trying to just turn out common-sense Americans who want to get back to the realm of sanity. So I'm going to be in Kansas City this Friday at 6 p.m. doing a rally with Eric Schmidt and Mark Alford. And I want to invite everyone to come to the rally. The rally is at the Alford campaign headquarters. It's 1272 West Foxwood Drive. And come out to the rally, be energized, and be empowered to go and get others to go to take our country back.
You know, we're speaking with Senator Ted Cruz right now. He's talking about this 17-state bus tour. Eric Schmidt seems like a likely Republican win to replace Roy Blunt here in Missouri. But, I can invoke the name Claire McCaskill, and Missouri knows not too terribly long ago what it means to be a purple state. I live across the river in Illinois. I work in St. Louis, Missouri. We know very well right here the difference that these blue states versus red states offer the people who live in them. How quickly can you take a purple state like Missouri that would elect Claire McCaskill and now it's in the hands potentially of Eric Schmidt as a solid red state?
Well, I think we've seen some dramatic shifts in states like Missouri and states like Ohio that you were talking about a minute ago. I think particularly one of the most consequential shifts in politics in the last decade has been the socioeconomic flip in politics, which it used to that Republicans were the party of the rich and Democrats were the party of the poor and the working class. That has turned on its head. Today's Democrat Party is the party of rich coastal elites. It's Manhattan and San Francisco sipping Chardonnay and with their woke policies happily destroying jobs of working men and women across this country. And the flip side of it, and something I'm very excited about, the Republican Party has become a blue-collar party. We are, and I think we should be, a party of truck drivers and steel workers and cops and firefighters and waiters and waitresses and everyone with calluses on their hands, everyone who works to provide for their family. That's the Republican Party. And it's one of the reasons you're seeing states like Missouri and Ohio getting redder and redder, because there are a lot of working men and women that are tired of these coastal elites destroying their jobs and waging war on the basic values that have built our communities.
You know, I think that's such a spot-on point. We're speaking with Senator Ted Cruz right now. Yesterday, we were talking about the idea of that old classic liberal, the one who in a maybe what used to be kind of an understood cultural Christian atmosphere that America was in. We've pulled away from that a little bit from a government standpoint. But in doing so, classic liberals were saying, government, stay out of my life. I don't need you to be here to tell me how I'm supposed to live and what I'm allowed to do and say and everything. How ironic that the Democrat Party now would really be in the face of those classic liberals saying, get out of my house, get out of my bedroom, get out of my kid's bedroom, get out of my kid's classroom, in a way that you're saying that your agendas need to be pushed there. The Republican Party does represent that idea of classic liberalism and honestly just liberty.
Yeah, look, I think that's exactly right. You know, you talk about an old school liberal. Take someone like Bill Maher. Bill Maher has been a liberal his whole life, and yet he is seeming, by comparison, more and more conservative because he hasn't bought into the woke idiocy. So when he points out something like, guys, it's kind of a big deal to suddenly tell us half the children in America are transgender. Like, that is a massive shift in humanity, and for Democrats to pretend just shut up and obey is pretty dramatic. I think people are fed up. I think we're seeing a rebellion of parents, of moms and dads. You look at Virginia. Virginia is a state Biden carried by 10 points, and a year later, Republicans won the governorship there. Why? Because a bunch of moms got ticked off at these crazy left-wing ideologues who had taken over our school. Houghton County, a horrific instance of a little girl, 14 years old, who was sexually assaulted by a boy in a skirt in the girls' bathroom. And the school board lied about it. They insisted it hadn't happened. They denied it. They transferred the boy to another school where he assaulted another girl. And the father of the little girl, when he went to the school board to complain, they had him arrested and forcibly dragged away. And I got to tell you, the moms and dads said, this is ridiculous. Stop messing with our kids. Stop trying to indoctrinate our kids. Just teach them reading, writing, and arithmetic and stay the heck out of our lives.
Senator Cruz with us right now, Senator Ted Cruz from Texas. I have 4 kids myself. My son, my oldest is 12. My youngest is 16 months. And I'm fortunate to send him to a parochial school. It's always been the priority in our house to teach him about Jesus first. It's our choice. We choose to invest in that. However, we have met so many families who have found the parochial schools, the Lutheran schools, the Catholic schools in our area because they fled the public schools. I'm having conversations with people who are giving these alternative to public education options a chance. And, you know, I wonder how much of the solution is fixing the public school and how much of the option that needs to be provided to American families is just the choice to do what's best for their own children.
I think choice, and school choice in particular, is the most important domestic public policy priority we have. I have been a passionate advocate for school choice for over 20 years. In my time in the Senate, the legislation I am most proud of that I authored was legislation in 2017 as part of the Trump tax cut that expanded College 529 savings plans so that now parents can save for K through 12 education in a tax advantage account up to $10,000 per student per year. I introduced that amendment. We voted a 50-50 Senate, perfectly divided, and the vice president came at 1 a.m. and cast the tie-breaking vote, and we passed the most far-reaching federal school choice legislation that has ever been passed. I think school choice it is the civil rights issue of the 21st century. And ironically, one of the upsides of the disaster that was COVID and all of the idiotic public policy that came from it is a whole bunch of parents got to see firsthand what was being taught to their kids as they were doing distance learning and watching. And I think a lot of parents were horrified. And the more we could empower parents that, look, it's not the government who gets to decide what your kids are taught. It is you, the parent. It is your choice. And the more we can empower parents to make that choice, the better off our kids are going to be.
Senator Ted Cruz, if I may ask just one more question before we know we have to let you go. You're driving around the country, hitting 17 states on your bus tour, going to be in Kansas City on the 14th. Encourage people to check out the information. We'll post the details of that so people can make that trip and support Eric Schmidt, too, if they want to. The landscape for Republicans in the Senate in the 2022 election is not favorable, at least in how many Republicans have to retain their seats in order to potentially get a majority. Not as many opportunities to pick off Democrats. Yep. But let's talk real quick, the comparison to 2022 and 2024. If the majority is able to be achieved by the Republicans, 1 seat, 2 seats maybe in this midterm election, maybe more, how does that set the Republican Party up in 2024 where they actually have the opportunity to take the presidency back?
Well, let's take it one step at a time. I think the chances this year of retaking the House are north of 90%. I think it is very likely to happen. And I think we could end up not just retaking the House, but with a big majority, with 30, 40, even 50-seat majority. The Senate, as you noted, is tougher because the map is not great. There are more vulnerable Republican seats than vulnerable Democrat seats. That being said, I still put the odds of our retaking the Senate at about 65-35. I think we're about a 2-to-1 favorite to do it because the top 3 issues in the country, if you look at national polling, number 1 is inflation, especially gas prices. Number 2 is crime. And number 3 is illegal immigration. All 3, the Democrats are disastrously wrong, and people have a lot more faith in Republicans. So I think we're going to win and get up with a 52-53 vote majority in November. That sets us up for 2024. Look, with majorities in both houses, we can begin to have real oversight. We can have hearings. We can hold the Biden administration accountable. We can stop their radical judges, their radical nominees. But to really change path, you got to have the White House, too. The executive branch has an enormous amount of power. And I think in 2024, people are going to say enough of this garbage. And we're going to see, I think where we are today is very much like the late 1970s. I think Biden is eerily, uncannily like Jimmy Carter. And it took Jimmy Carter to give us Ronald Reagan. I think we're seeing the same thing. So I think 2022 is going to be a red wave, and 2024 is going to be an even bigger red wave because people want to get back to abundance and prosperity and safety and security and, frankly, sanity, away from the craziness of the woke left.
I couldn't agree with you more, Senator Cruz, and your words are hitting well with our listeners. I know a lot of the people here support you, have supported you for the last years that you've been nationally outspoken about this, and we are incredibly grateful for your time today, Senator. Thank you so much.
Well, Annie, thank you. Let me tell folks, go to the website tcbustour.com, tcbustour.com. You can get free tickets to the rally. You can see all of our stops in the 17 states, and I hope to see you on Friday. That's fantastic. We're going to share it on all our social media. Ted Cruz, wonderful to speak with you today. Thank you so much. Thanks. Bye-bye. So that's great. Go check out that bus tour if you got some time on Friday and you can make a swing by Kansas City, support Eric Schmidt because that race certainly is a must win for Republicans. I think people are feeling confident about it. Ryan Wiggins is going to talk to us a little bit about that race, specifically a development, I suppose, in that race. And he's going to come in here and do a delayed Wiggins America Mountain Time. Is that right? What Mountain Time? It's 12:45 Mountain Time right now. Yeah. Wiggins America.
from the mountains. We should get him head for the mountains. I love talking to Ted Cruz. Today we've talked to Rick Santorum. Yesterday we had Matt Whitaker and Regan Deering in studio. We've got it here for you on the Annie Frey Show. And listen, folks, these people care about you, and that's why they come here. And I am grateful for that. Let's take a quick break and serve up some Wiggins America in just a minute.
Well, everybody knows that the Lord wants
This
them
is the
straight
Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
Then on the very next day, God bless Texas with his own hand, brought down angels from the promised land, gave them a place where they could dance. If you want to see heaven, brother, here's your chance. Well, I've been sent to spread the message. God bless Texas.
The Mark Reardon Show.
George Rizzo, he is a Republican candidate for state senate.
This censorship almost going on, and people are uncomfortable saying where they are.
The cancel culture stuff.
The cancel culture stuff.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Slim 180 is online at myslim180.com. I was just by there this week to talk to some of the people at Slim 180. I went to the one in Sunset Hills, and I'm so encouraged to hear about success that you folks are having with Slim 180. And I am looking forward to talking to maybe some of you here in the future. I want to tell you that if you've thought about losing weight and you've struggled with the idea, or you've struggled with the commitment, or you've tried everything, or you're looking at yourself and you're thinking, I need to be healthier, I need to do something to shed some of this weight, the aches, the pains, the malaise, it's got to go, and you've not tried anything, give Slim 180 a shot and have something that works the first time. When you talk to them about your struggles, or you talk to them about your cravings, they're going to put you on a plan that's catered to you so that you can lose the weight in a time that is supervised and counseled with the amazing, knowledgeable people at Slim 180. It has worked for me. I would suggest that you give it a try for you. Reach out to them and find out about their numbers, their phone numbers, their locations, all the details at myslim180.com.
The best conversations happen at the kitchen table. So I'm bringing the table to you.
All around our communities, Ann Wagner is meeting with us and hearing our concerns.
Public servants need to listen to you, not the liberal mob. People care about kitchen table issues, like the skyrocketing prices of groceries and gas. And now Biden has you paying for someone else's college loans. Let's stop their madness.
This year, Biden's inflation is costing your home over $10,000. Ann Wagner has seen the harm it's brought to Missouri families firsthand. She knows you work too hard to have your tax dollars wasted by Joe Biden and Nancy Pelosi. That's why Ann has a long record of cutting your taxes and fighting the Democrats' out-of-control spending.
I'm Ann Wagner, and I approve this message to give you a seat at the table.
Common sense conservative, Ann Wagner for Congress. Paid for by Ann Wagner for Congress.
I'm Eric Robert with Stifel. The economy is always changing, but what does it mean for your investments? Join me and fellow Stifel financial advisor Bob Stockdale during On the Money, Saturday mornings from 11 until noon on 97.1 FM Talk. Stifel, member NYSE and SIPC.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for their honor flight today at gslhonorflight.org, and for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
Information to keep you moving. Dependable traffic mornings and afternoons with Sue Thomas. Driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor.
Sing my share of broken halos, floating wings that used to fly.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
It's kind of hard to turn Chris Stapleton off anytime.
Hey.
What are we doing? We're talking in our microphones
Hello there.
today?
Hello there. Hi.
I want to welcome everybody to our first day on the radio. We just had Senator Ted Cruz on.
You did a great job.
Well, thank you.
I listened to that whole interview because I was looking forward to it all day.
Waiting for me to fail.
I was like, oh, man.
Come in here and
Come
like,
on, slip up, Annie.
Kick me out of here so you can take over. Hi, Mr. Cruz.
Hey, Mr. Cruz, it's me, right? I had to come and question myself. Who's the party in the blue collar now?
What would he do?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Wouldn't that be something to try that?
No, dude.
The same thing Kamala Harris did when Charlamagne the God started asking questions she didn't like, and they were just like, the connection seems bad. We gotta go.
Or the Easter Bunny would come up, and we would somehow know that on the radio.
Oh man, we should have an
Easter Bunny just took away Ted Cruz.
Will Johnny Brox donate an Easter Bunny costume to the Annie Frey Show? Because we could do a lot of things with that.
Oh man, there's the sketch right there.
I mean, immediately it would go on forever and ever.
Yeah,
it would never end.
Yeah,
I will dress up in the bunny costume during Wiggins America.
Ooh, okay.
And get us back on track.
You should be the Easter Bunny for Halloween. Be real confusing. Right up my alley.
I am willing to put myself on the line for a price.
What is name your price? For what can you be bought?
I needed a moment to think about that.
Okay.
I'm pretty cheap. That's not true.
Okay. It's probably going to do with YouTube subscribers or something, right?
You should see what I was typing on my keyboard over here when I was banging on it before.
Was it flags levels?
Just the second half.
My bad.
Ted Cruz has been very invested in the Eric Schmidt Senate race. He's shown up in Missouri many times. Someone commented about Eric Schmidt seeming like he's a shoo-in, and for Ted Cruz to stop in Missouri seems like it's not the place. He's going to Kansas. That's why he's not coming through Missouri. If you look at you can go to the website where he has all the information up, tcbustour.com, and see he's stopping in 17 different states. And it's very strategically aligned so that he can touch a lot of states in your borders. I mean, if you come to St. Louis, you're checking off Illinois at the same time.
Which I would hope he would do, because we have a chance in Illinois.
He's not.
I want to run up to the mic. Mr. Cruz, that's me, right? We have a chance in Illinois too, right?
He's going to be like, Ryan, I got bad news.
He would use my first name. Yeah. He would know me right away. He'd say, well, Ryan, I understand what you said there. And let me just tell you something, because he's that good.
Joe says on YouTube, this is a weird comment, but Annie, I have an Easter Bunny costume guy.
Oh.
All kinds of
it got weird at guy. Because I thought if you just had a costume, it'd be something.
He's got a guy.
Okay. All right. You interested in the polls for Eric Schmidt?
No.
Okay, then let's talk about Easter Bunny costumes.
No, I am. Go for it.
All right, well, here you go. According to the last three that I can find anywhere, Survey USA has Eric Schmidt up by 11.
Mm-hmm.
Emerson College and The Hill has Eric Schmidt up by 11. And SLU YouGov has him up by, you want to take a guess?
Is it 9?
No!
14.
You were so close. You both split the difference, guys.
Let's for a minute not pretend that you would say that and it's not 11. That's totally likely.
Okay. That's fair. That sounds like something I would do.
Yeah.
Set you up to say 11 and then be like,
it's 11.
I gotcha.
It's 11.
It is 11. Yeah, they all have Schmidt up at 11. And they're not really...
Are those local polls?
They're kind of halfway local. This one at the bottom here is done by SLU.
Where are you looking?
Along with YouGov. Just type in Eric Schmidt polls. You'll find all the latest ones.
You just take whatever Google gives you?
Well, that's the latest from news articles. So I'm looking at KC11 or something. That's
that's what I'm asking you. Where are you getting this information from?
Yeah. The first one,
as far as I know, you might have pulled the people out in the men's room.
The internet.
No, these are real polls. Emerson College and The Hill is a major poll.
This is from RWP?
That's a national poll. The other two
and it's
are
RWPEE.
More local. It does make you wonder when they all find pretty much the exact same thing, if they're not looking at each other and going, well, because you can wait your results, If you're not waiting them to just try to be in line.
I try to avoid waiting.
I understand.
Why?
I don't.
Why?
You know what I just ate right before I walked in here?
What?
A fudge round.
Double decker?
No, just a regular.
Was it disappointing?
No, because it was still oversized. It wasn't the typical fudge round. But I digress. I think Eric Schmidt has a pretty good chance here.
Will somebody please re-listen to this Wiggins America and literally draw us a map and take a picture of it and send it to us on social media? This is where you were. This is where you are. This is how you got here.
Here's what I really like to do, because we've never done this before. Listen, that's fine. I got all these crazy inner ear problems. I'm falling down.
This right here would be a speed bump in the map from point A to point B.
Ted Cruz just got off the phone and was like, you know what I'm going to do?
I'm going to check out
stick around, listen to one more segment, because that was a really polished interview.
He probably just fired somebody.
That
Sorry.
poor staffer.
You guys can come work here for free as an intern.
The staffer, what they do is they mistake. The mistake they make is that they contact Brad and you, and they forget that I'm going to come in and just basically drive it into a ditch.
You know what, though? That would be my fault for letting you come in here and drive it in
is
the
your
ditch.
fault.
I should just close the door and put a little bar on it and keep you out until there's enough distance.
I'm glad we've established the solution to the problem.
Can I blame Brad for one thing?
Blame him for whatever you want. He's gonna clap back. You know that.
The problem with this Wiggins America is that we never played my intro.
Yeah, you're
And so
right.
I'm just sitting here kind of waiting, like, did we start yet or what?
No.
What are you supposed to? So we're just going to play it at the end? Is
Here,
that how
here
that
it
goes?
is. Let's listen.
Wiggins!
Oh, Wiggins!
There it goes. All right. So, Eric Schmidt in Survey USA up by 11 points. Oh, no. Oh, no.
Show me Missouri, show me Trudy.
Oh.
Oh, no.
Yeah, you know what this is?
Strong leaders in the show me stage. She knows the power of love beats the power of hate.
Oh.
That's her only policy position in this whole song.
If you're going to take a position on hate, that was a good position to take.
She likes the power of love better than hate.
Oh, man.
Uh-huh.
Ryan, you have an assignment.
Show me.
Write a better song for Eric
Trudy.
Schmidt.
It should be exact same thing, but it's just going to say Eric Schmidt. It will not rhyme.
No, you have to find an instrumental,
And write a
song for Eric Schmidt.
Yeah.
Hannah will sing it.
Oh, I love that idea. And then I start to do it, and I go,
And then we'll
This
put it
is
on
taking
Alexa.
my entire
And then
weekend.
when you're telling your thing to play Eric Schmidt's playlist instead of Eric Church's playlist, like Hannah did, it'll play
It'll
that
actually
song.
play a song.
No, do it.
oh, fine.
It's what you do. I can't wait to hear it. We'll
Can we
listen
all
to it today after the show.
Let's agree that this has been a tremendous segment.
I'm gonna have to poll the audience.
Today's YouTube poll, this was a tremendous segment, yes
This
or
is
no?
wild. It's 2:00.
Yes, it is.
You are gonna stay.
I'm right here.
We'll
I'm
be
not
right
going
back.
anywhere.
Relief buying all these different insoles. I spent thousands of dollars. I bought all these products and not a single one worked. I really, truly needed to have relief in my feet. And the Good Feet arch supports were what gave me the relief I needed. I can wear these arch supports in all my shoes. Cowboy boots, running shoes, walking shoes, flat shoes, heels. Makes me so happy. If you ask my husband, he will crack up because there is no store I would rather go in than a shoe store.
Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive, Catty Corner from TGI Fridays, or in Shiloh, Illinois, across from Dearborn.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. Come in and try the Good Feet feeling today. Comfort, energy, performance, and pain relief at the Good Feet store.
Air Comfort Service dedicated to keeping you in your comfort zone, and they certainly have done that for my family. We are approaching that fallish weather. It's going to set in here pretty soon and stay. Of course, we know in St. Louis, in September and October, you can have cold days and cold nights, and you can have hot days and warm nights. But once that cold weather gets here and doesn't leave, you need to make sure that the energy that you are paying for to run your furnace to keep you in your warm comfort zone at home is actually doing the trick to keep you in your comfort zone. Prices have gone up on energy costs way high. And if your furnace is not running efficiently, you need to get Air Comfort Service out soon to give your furnace a tune-up, to make sure that the maintenance has been done that you need to help make sure that the filter is working the way it's supposed to, or potentially if you need to replace it, they can set you up with rebates and amazing financing opportunities as well. 314-513-0091. That's 314-513-0091. Online at aircomfortservice.com.
There's a big red barn where you say green. Norm's Bargain Barn. On discount windows, doors, and things. Norm's Bargain Barn.
Hi, I'm Norm Wilkie. Come see my new selection of Amish cabinetry made by my good Amish friends at Countrywood Products. We now stock 5 styles of cabinetry for you to choose from.
When you need to save on discount windows, doors, and cabinetry, come to Norm's Bargain Barn with locations in Shiloh and Fenton at the bottom of Gravois Bluffs. Visit normsbargainbarn.com.
That's normsbargainbarn.com.
Hey, Ed Brock, everybody. If you love Halloween like I do yourself a favor and visit Johnny Brock's Dungeon. Why shop those tiny pop-up shops when you can shop 30,000 square feet of locally owned Halloween fun? We're open all year at I-44 in Jefferson on the edge of Soulard. Johnny Brock's Dungeon, a St. Louis must-see.
KFTK FM Florissant.
Driven by the Bommarito Automotive Group.
97.1 FM Talk.
Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The U.S. doubles down. Lisa Brady, Fox News, at a meeting on Ukraine at NATO headquarters in Belgium.
We will do as much as we can for as long as we can, and we will do as much as it takes for as long as it takes.
Joint Chiefs Chairman General Mark Milley as Western nations pledge to give Ukraine more powerful air defense systems after days of Russian missile strikes on more than a dozen Ukrainian cities, condemned as possible war crimes. The death of a Navy SEAL candidate after training known as Hell Week is prompting changes to the program and official reprimands.
SEAL candidate Kyle Mullen died in February, and now a report about his death finds he died in the line of duty, not due to his own misconduct. While an autopsy did not find evidence of performance-enhancing drugs, blood and urine samples were apparently not taken, and PEDs were found among his belongings. But Mullen also had an enlarged heart. Naval officials say they are now conducting additional drug testing, and as a result, some candidates have already been disqualified. The report also concluded after interviewing classmates that Mullen was in bad medical shape at the end of Hell Week, but 911 was not initially called.
Fox's Jessica Rosenthal. Naval Command says additional health screenings will be added, along with reminders that health and safety take priority. A federal judge tells the former president he has to show up next week for the deposition in a defamation lawsuit.
The lawsuit was filed by writer E. Jean Carroll, who alleges the former president raped her in a department store dressing room. U.S. District Judge Lewis Kaplan ruled it was time to go forward with the case, despite former President Trump's defense attorney's attempts to delay further proceedings. The judge implied delay tactics in his ruling, saying, quote, Mr. Trump has litigated this case since it began in 2019.
Fox's Gernal Scott. The lawsuit accuses Trump of damaging Carroll's reputation with his denials of the rape allegation. America is listening to Fox News.
Every search you make, every click you take, they'll be watching you.
Are you tired of being tracked online? There's a simple solution. DuckDuckGo. It's an all-in-one privacy app with a built-in private search engine, web browser, one-click data clearing, email protection, and more, all for free. Download the app today and get the most comprehensive privacy protection with the push of a button. DuckDuckGo. Privacy simplified.
The roar of our engines, the pump of our heartbeats, the pedal to our metal, the sparks that ignite us, the pistons that push us, the passions that drive us. From the feelings that move us to the places that pull us on the roads that unite us. With nearly 6,000 stores and over 17,000 auto care centers, Napa has America's largest network of parts and care, here to keep you firing on all cylinders.
Air Comfort Service, heating and cooling, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Still the chance of a couple of spotty showers, even a thunderstorm going through the afternoon. Otherwise, it's a mix of clouds and sunshine. 72 for the high. Tonight, clear skies. Let's eventually drop it back to 45. Spectacular weather Thursday and Friday. Sunny and cool. 65 each day. The weekend looks great. 72 on Saturday. 65 Sunday. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Stay connected to everything happening in the world, the country, and the community.
Just look at this. What is the top issue among likely voters, those likely to turn out 33 days from now? The economy and inflation overwhelmingly.
Your home for conservative talk.
The Fed is going to raise rates. That's going to be perilous for the economy. There's nothing much else they can do because they waited 15 months while they lied to us about how transitory inflation was.
This is 97.1 FM Talk.
If you own a house in St. Louis and you want to sell it as is without any inspections or need to make any repairs, call Chris Buys Homes St. Louis at 314-782-8000 or at chrisbuyshomesaintlouis.com and get your cash offer without any obligation, commissions, banks, or headaches. Chris buys vacant houses, inherited houses, fixer-uppers, beautiful houses, even the tenant won't pay their rent apartment. Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. That's Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis. and check out the best reviews from satisfied customers. When you sell to Chris, you decide when you want to move, according to your schedule and your terms. Go to chrisbuyshomesinstlouis.com, Google Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis, or call 314-782-8000. That's 314-782-8000. And get the offer you have been waiting for. Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, Chris Buys Homes in St. Louis.com, or call 314-782-8000.
This is Andy Berg, board-certified master arborist with Hanson's Tree Service. Maintaining healthy trees in our urban environment is a challenge, and our trees often don't perform how we'd like. Go to hansonstree.com to find out how we can service your trees today.
We're all on this planet together, so join Odyssey and find your one thing. Now that it's autumn, check window and door seals for proper insulation and replace your furnace air filter. Join Odyssey, and together, each of us doing one thing makes a greener tomorrow. What's your one thing?
As the leaves change, leave the hiring to Indeed. Their all-in-one hiring platform helps you attract, interview, and hire candidates all from one place. And Indeed's interview tool lets you schedule and conduct virtual interviews right from their website. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
This month's Zero Res special. The more you clean, the more you save. Get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at $129 or 5 rooms starting at $199. A 43% savings. Take $75 off any air duct cleaning package. Call 314-474-2020 or go to ZeroResSTL.com.
With Odyssey music stations, there's a different station for every taste, and they're all free. Listen to 97.1 live on your phone or browse the selection of music stations and make a soundtrack to your workday. It's all at Odyssey.com.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Man, things are happening out behind the scenes right now.
Oh my gosh, there's so much happening. If we could take what happens behind the scenes and put it on the radio, we'd be multi-billionaires. Well, we can't. We're terrible at it. Yep.
That's just my need. Don't mind that.
Hannah has been asking me for, this is the day 3 of this saga.
That's true.
She messages me and she says, "Can I ask you a favor?" And I'm like, "What do you need, like a reference or something?" And she says to me, it was Monday morning, she goes, "Can I ask you a favor?" And I said, "Sure, what do you need?" She goes, "Can you bring your curling iron into work?" She says,
"Girls."
I want to, what?
Nothing.
What do you have?
Did you say curls or girls?
I just said girls. That's all I said.
What about the men who use curling irons? Do you have a problem with them?
Yep.
Brad used a hair tool today.
I did. I used a facial hair tool. I used a hot comb on my beard.
You guys, combs.
Men.
Men and their combs.
Men.
Have you ever brushed your beard?
No.
We can tell. Brad brushes his with a hot comb. I didn't know that existed.
I didn't know for the longest time, and then
Are you sure that's what it was?
Yes, because when I ordered it off of Amazon, that's what it said. It said hot
I tried
comb
it
for
once
beard.
with a honeycomb. It's the last time I ever tried brushing my beard.
Oh my gosh, the bees.
Yep. I brushed it, got all sticky, and then I went outside and I got covered in bees and stuff.
And then
I
a
had to
bear.
go to the hospital. Thank you very much. That's why I said that about the curling iron and girls.
I don't even know where that means. I'm gonna need another roadmap.
I got a hot curling iron in my hand because as we move through this hour, I'm gonna curl Hannah's hair.
She's going to teach me how to do it.
Then
This is crazy.
Pillow fight. Tune in live on the chat.
Hannah, this is a curling iron. Does your wife, does Katie, does Mrs. Wiggins have a curling iron?
I think I've seen one of those. Didn't know what it was.
Really?
So yes.
Does she have one like this?
Yeah.
Just like that.
Does Mrs. Range have one like this?
I don't think she has one that big. She's got one of the more narrow ones. And then she also has a flat iron. And
It's
like
not
this
something you usually
box
say
with
about your
these
wife.
We're talking
curler
about
things
curling
in
irons,
it.
right?
What is the box with the curler things in it?
Oh, rollers.
Hot
Now
rollers.
that I know what that is,
I
I can
have
tell you
hot
that my
rollers.
wife's got a big one. She's got a lot of hair. It's like a lion's mane, so she has to have a big one. What?
Nothing at all. Just keep going.
So is that considered a big one? I don't really have a frame of reference. Dang it.
You think I have a frame of reference? What are you saying?
I'm not a girl. I'm not a girl. That's all I'm saying. You girls talk about this stuff. We're not involved. And then you come in here with this curling iron asking if it's
Trust
a
me,
big one.
we're not talking about it nearly as much as you men think we are.
And the clip right there on the video. It's a perfect video.
Ted Cruz.
I hope he's
having,
not listening.
Ted Cruz is having serious regrets right now.
Yeah, tag Ted Cruz on that video.
He's completely retooling his staff.
Yes, this would be a larger barrel.
That is true.
Okay.
And
So-
it has a clamp. That's what
She doesn't
threw me off.
This is an age thing to me. This is what you curled your hair with.
I thought they all had clamps.
No.
How do they work if they don't?
I have a wand. You just do it around the wand.
And hold it.
Yeah.
You just hold it, you twirl it around till it gets the job done.
Oh, okay. Yep.
That one, to me, that one does have particular girth.
It is. That's I curled my hair curls right now are from this.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they look great. Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's my job to get this back on track, and I can't do it.
It's my job to never let you be able to get it back on track.
So I literally was talking.
Let's talk about Ted Cruz.
I was literally talking with Brad before the show started about potentially coming up with a segment. Corey Malone, I am so sorry, of Air Comfort Service, where we do.
Like, this is genuine, man.
It's out of your comfort zone.
Yep.
We want to do an out of your comfort zone segment. I didn't know this was going to happen today like this.
And he's there.
The idea that I was going to pitch to Corey, he already hates, so he didn't even know it yet. Woo!
Man, I don't know about you. But
We're getting comments that say I need to take charge.
I keep looking up at the clock going, it's only 12 minutes in.
This is unbelievable.
We
This
can't
is
like
the slowest
bail. We
time
can't
it's
bail
ever
on this
moved.
thing. We got to keep going.
The show was flying by up to this point. And it was like,
So good.
All right. So back to those Eric Schmidt polls. What were we talking about?
You know what we need?
What?
I have what we need. I think. Yeah, you need to turn my computer off.
There we go.
She's a brand new voice, an inspiration for all to see. Show me Missouri, show me Trudy.
Is this real?
It's a real song released by the Trudy Bush
What?
Valentine Camp. Yeah.
Don't go away. There's more.
I'm just fading it down so that people can hear you.
They never say anything in the song. It's just like, hey, she's a new
Can
kind
you
of
Google,
politician.
like other songs? Can you Google the lyrics to this thing?
I don't know. It's only been viewed about 8,000 times, like nationwide in over a month. So nobody cares about it.
We do. We know it. I don't even have anything against Trudy Bush Valentine other than if I were in Missouri, I wouldn't vote for her. But, like, I'm not mad about it. I just think Eric Schmidt's great. Why this?
I think they were hoping that it would catch on. And then people heard the song and they didn't share it.
The song is not terrible. The singer is good, but it's not really like going
It's
like,
just-
let's go, Bo!
Yeah, it's just kind of there. It really, I've listened to the whole thing several times now because that's what I do to go to sleep at night. And it doesn't say anything.
Does it creep into your dreams?
Mm-hmm.
This is like in my nightmares.
Send her to Washington, let's seal this deal.
See, it's just.
It's the right time. She's the right voice with a caring heart. She's a brand new voice, an inspiration for all to see. Show me Missouri, show me Trudy.
Clap, clap!
Uh-huh.
That was not us. That's in the song?
That's in the song. I mean, it's just there. It's it's just saying her name.
People have done way dumber things for political campaigns.
I almost made that a Wiggins America because there's one that came out of Colorado that if I could find it,
use it for tomorrow.
It's for a Republican and it is terrible. It's this 65-year-old lady doing a rap. And I mean, it's like
in The Wedding Singer?
No, that's cute. This is
especially because she pays him in meatballs.
This is cringy.
Remember that way long time ago when we thought, wow, time's really moving slow? That was just 2 minutes ago.
How about that? Look at that. Look at the time flying. 2:15.
Legitimately what we're doing. We're just watching it. Yep. This is the watch pot. Never boils.
It's so sad because we peaked on such good jokes so early.
Some of them weren't even on the air.
That's right. Can you guys just do each other's hair now?
No, we're going to do that on the break.
Oh, okay.
That went
We're trying to be professional.
Very fast.
Yeah. Yeah, that did.
Did you see the Fetterman interview on NBC? Was it? I think it was NBC.
I did not. I know they've been giving him some glowing coverage lately.
The interview was not.
No.
It was, I'm going to play a clip. Dasha Burns, she's the interviewer, and she kind of commented about the experience of the interview.
Fetterman's campaign required closed captioning technology for this interview to essentially read our questions as we ask them. And Lester, in small talk before the interview, without captioning, it wasn't clear he was understanding our conversation.
Whoa, really?
Yeah.
They explained that on the air that they had to have, the camp said we need to have him reading the questions as they happen.
Mm-hmm.
Hoo-wee.
When you watch the interview, he's got a monitor sitting in front of him, and they actually show video of the monitor, and it's almost like it's like a Zoom call with closed captioning on. And as the interviewer, as she poses the questions, you can see the words coming up on the screen, and he's looking at them, reading them.
Here's more from it.
Right now, voters really have to take your word for it. We've asked for your medical records. We've asked to have a conversation with someone from your medical team, to interview your physician. You've declined those requests. Why?
Well, I feel like we have been very transparent in a lot of different ways. When our doctor has already given a letter saying that I'm able to serve and to be running.
I mean, respectfully, that letter from your physician, that was 6 months ago. Don't voters deserve to know your status now?
Being in front of thousands and thousands of people and having interviews and getting around all across Pennsylvania, that gives everybody and the voters decide, if they think that it's really the issue.
That's not a sentence. It's not a coherent sentence. We have to be able to have a conversation about people who are going to represent other people in government to say that this person is not fit for duty. Because you say that, you are not making a judgment on people who have suffered strokes or have some of the same impairments that he's experiencing. We have to be able to call a spade and determine whether or not someone is up to the job. And if he isn't up to the job, then we have to be able to identify that. And the media has to be able to do what we're seeing here from, this is crazy.
It's happening on Fox as we're talking about.
I called it again. It's important for that to be highlighted by the media. This is the situation. This is the state of this candidate. He has these struggles that he will have to overcome to properly represent you. You should know about them. That doesn't mean that the media has to say you cannot vote for this man, but they do have to report on it. I'm kind of happy to see that the Today Show did it.
I got to say, from hearing that means that Fetterman is worse than I thought he was, because I've been following this race actually pretty closely. And I assumed that Fetterman would go out, he'd do a speech, and that at some point in that speech, his words, he knew kind of what he was trying to say, and he'd just get them all out of order, and it would sound bad. And I thought, well, if he had a stroke, he's having trouble just getting the words out. But what you're talking about is he's having trouble processing hearing people talk.
Yeah.
And reading it is going better for him, so he's got to do interviews that way. That's taking that to a different level than I apparently thought he was at.
The media, I mean, credit to Today's Show, they showed it and they reacted to it in, I don't know how fully honest they are about how much how kind of shocking it was that this was such an unusual kind of interview for people who do interviews all the time. But even if you consume this in the Today Show version, Today Show's on NBC, right? Yeah. If you consume it in the way that you would expect NBC or MSNBC, but mostly network NBC, to present something, the concerns or the way that they publicly do bring out some of the circumstances to what is taking place in this campaign means that they can't not do it.
Yeah, because that's friendly territory. The Today Show wants Fetterman to win that race.
He is on a regular basis using his condition for sympathy. And, he says in this interview at one point that his stroke has helped him identify with everyday Americans. That's not actually something that is true. You don't know what, I'm not in Pennsylvania, but you don't know what my everyday life is like now more because you've suffered a stroke. That doesn't play. That doesn't actually make sense. I don't think that because you've had a stroke, you're no longer capable of serving in the United States Senate at all. But you have to be up to the job. And whatever your condition is, you have to be able to perform the job. And if you can't, and there's somebody there who can, then the voters need to understand those circumstances and they need to vote accordingly. And the media needs to not hide things and not cover things because they're afraid of the other guy winning. That is not journalism.
That is Twitter.
That's media for sure.
It's activism.
Yeah. I had somebody criticizing me lately, like, you say you're a journalist. Well, I'm not a journalist. No, that's not what I am. I wouldn't want to be a journalist. I respect people who actually do journalism. Kevin Killeen down the hall is always out doing journalism all over St. Louis, working at it and doing it in a really wonderful way for KMOX News. That's journalism. That's different than me coming onto the radio for 3 hours a day each day and telling you what I think about what's going on. It is a different thing. And the idea of being fair and balanced, we had Regan Deering, who's running for Illinois' 13th. She's a Republican candidate in a Democrat-drawn district, and she has a very good chance of winning it. Somebody asked yesterday, did you invite Nikki Budzinski on? Well, we have.
Yep.
That has been done. I don't know if we've gotten a response. She's welcome to come on the show if she would like to. I would love to ask her about key issues that face people in the 13th district, which includes me. So she would be my congressional representative. But the idea of having an opinion on the issues and having a perspective that I share in this context of media, I have the right to do that. That's what I do here. I'm not going out and doing investigative reports and uncovering things and asking tough questions of people to try to get to the bottom of something. I talk to people who do that, and we have them on the show to discuss that. But the Fetterman stuff, I feel like with the state of the economy right now, combined with these types of reports coming out, I bet you in the next 2 weeks that Oz starts to pull in the positive.
Yeah, I mean, at some point you can't hide this or cover this up anymore, and people are going to realize, hey, look, he's not ready to be a senator. Maybe next time, but he's not healthy enough to do it now.
Let's take a quick break. We're going to discuss the YouTube live chat poll when we come back. If you want to vote in this poll, I'm going to tell you what it is here in just a second, but if you want to vote in it, you go to YouTube, you find the Annie Frey channel. We are live right now. You open the live video, and there's a chat section there, and every day we do a poll there. You can cast your vote there. You can leave a comment if you so choose. Hannah highlights those and reads them in the 245 segment. But today's is, are you religious? Yes, no, or undecided? Let's talk about that when we come back. Don't go away.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter @Annie Frey Show.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
97.1 is your place for full Decision 2022 coverage.
Decision 2022.
Sponsored by Air Comfort Service and TR Hughes Homes on 97.1 FM Talk.
The Retirement Advisory Group is a family business with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw at the helm. When they're meeting with each and every one of their clients, that could be you, they first will set up a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. And when you're watching the economy right now, if you're near retiring age, if you think that you are near retiring age, you want to make sure that whatever you have put aside is not going to dwindle in the years leading up to the time that you would like to retire. That's the specialty of the Retirement Advisory Group. Thomas Helbig helps customer after customer, client after client assess their situation, what their expectation is for retirement, and then utilize a plan that protects the nest egg so that you don't have to fret when the stock market is going down as it has here recently. Call them now for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will receive a second edition book free, Your Key to a Free Retirement. That's Thomas Helbig's book. You give him a call to set up your appointment at 314-993-9494. That's 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com.
Hey guys, Glover here for my friends at ThrottleNet. These are the genius IT guys I've been representing for years and years now. We are number one all the time. Best in customer service from Small Business Monthly. Best in cybersecurity, again, Small Business Monthly. We have an average response time. I love this statistic. The average response time in St. Louis in 2020 by IT companies. You have a problem, you reach out to them, hey, I'm all shut down, help me, was 3 hours. If you got back within 3 hours, you were cool. Ours was 1 minute, 57 seconds, and the guys were very unhappy with that. It takes less than 2 minutes for us to address your problems. Here's a huge thing. We are now offering $500,000 in ransom protection to everyone who uses us. This is part of the deal. You don't pay extra for it. So if you happen to be hit and you have to pay, we're going to pay it up to $500,000. Now, this shows you how confident we are because no one under our protection has ever had to pay. Go to throttlenet.com/DGS.
What's up, everybody? Guess who's hosting a new podcast? No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith. Listen as I pull back the curtain on everything beyond the world of sports, interviewing influential guests, outspoken celebrities, and thought leaders across the political, financial, and social spectrum. You know me, I'll give you my unbiased opinion. A No Mercy episode drops every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. No Mercy with Stephen A. Smith, a presentation of Cadence 13 and Odyssey Studio, available on the Odyssey app or wherever you listen to your podcast.
Do you know how much of your life savings you could lose in the next market downturn? Are you okay with the stock market controlling your financial future, or would you like to have more control? Hi, I'm Ken Heisey of Heisey Advisory Group. Our team can stress test your retirement portfolio and give you the confidence to enjoy your retirement without having to worry about what the stock market is doing. Call 314-328-6000 today. That's 314-328-6000 and schedule your complimentary retirement roadmap review with our team. That's 314-328-6000. Again, that's 314-328-6000.
Heisey Advisory Group provides insurance services. Investment advisory services offered through AE Wealth Management, LLC. Investing involves risk, including the potential loss of principal.
To have a roof over your head, a nice roof over your head, is very important.
That's Rick talking about his experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago, and they're very cooperative on getting us the right paint. They were in and out and done in no time. Once it was finished, looked great. We were very happy with it.
The main reason Rick called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by a 25-year transferable warranty.
We've watched a lot of people get their house painted 3 or 4 times, and we haven't had to do any of it. I don't know about you guys, but I don't want to have to paint it every 5-7 years.
Take a tip from Rick and put down the paintbrush and call Rhino Shield for your free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
We got Rhino Shield 18 years ago. Financially makes sense, especially if it's going to last like this did. Still looks great.
Call now. 877-25-RHINO or 877-25rhino.com.
Don't paint, don't Rhino, go Rhino Shield. Never paint your house again. Rhino Shield.
Are you or someone you know seeking help for a substance use disorder in Franklin County? Prevent Ed's free peer support service can connect clients with the medication-assisted treatment provider. Our certified peer specialists guide you through the process and ensure transportation to appointments and to pick up medication. Clients can generally be seen by a treatment provider in 24 to 36 hours. Access this free service at 314-246-9788 or at prevented.org/peers.
Break down, come on.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
All right, gentlemen, let's get an honest review. We did a little hair care here in the break. I found out earlier this week that Hannah has never used a curling iron. I think the kids these days use a wand. Mm-hmm. It doesn't have the clampy thing. And Ryan...
Clamp makes a difference.
It does. Ryan has confirmed that his wife has something that looks like this curling iron that I've brought in. It could be anything, though. And you said your wife uses rollers, Brad.
She has hot rollers, but I think she has a curling iron with a clamp as well.
So I curled her hair really quick here in the break with my what I would call an old-fashioned curling iron, which is what I grew up with. Although in the 80s, we also had the... I told you this before, Hannah. I had the crimper. And she goes, I have a crimper. I'm like, you don't have a crimper like we had a crimper.
Okay. I have a waver. I don't have like a crimper that does the little tiny zigs.
Hard crimp. My sister had one.
They're fantastic. So Ryan, Hannah's hair?
I don't love the top of it, so I would appreciate if you could just sort of...
The roots!
What is it about the top that you don't like?
I don't like it, and so I'm hoping that you guys can cut it off of the camera and make sure that the camera cannot see the top. I'm basically just making a camera joke right now.
It's the best
we had
path
to get the bottom.
of radio broadcasting I can think of.
I'd say overall, I'd give it a solid 6 out of 8.
I have never seen hair.
The old 8-point scale that everybody uses.
I have never seen hair that looks that good after being styled on a radio break.
I style my hair on radio breaks all the time.
Yeah, true.
I know what you were doing there, but...
That was a slam.
I see it.
I tried doing a piece of my own, and Annie was like, just give it to me.
Get out of the way.
I will say, if I had walked in
personality.
and not known that you had done something, I would think, your hair looks so alive today. And then I would say, maybe she's born with it. And Brad would be like, maybe
it's Maybelline.
That's our bit. We do that. We do have a thing. That's our thing.
As of now.
As of right now.
Right now.
I think I might invest in one of these.
It's a good one.
I'm
Sally
still
Beauty Supply.
With the clamp.
I'm still blown away that you don't own a curling iron with a clamp. I thought that's all they were.
No, I have a wand. Maybe I should bring in my wand.
This is the
and we can
stupid
compare.
thing about men and women when it comes to beauty and like personal care, because for a female to go to the store and buy something for a condition, you have 6 different things that you can use for one condition. And then for men, they're like, it's a shower in a bottle. It's the whole thing right there in one. It costs $3.52 and it takes care of all your needs. Yep. And men are like, I'll take that.
Shampoo,
Why
body
can't
wash,
they do that for
car
women?
wash, all the same.
Yep.
2 stores this morning and walked through the women's whatever aisles, the beauty aisles.
You need
and
to
all
be
this
more
stuff.
specific.
Yeah, what?
What?
You know.
No,
those
I don't.
aisles. I walked through those.
The underwear aisle?
No, not the underwear aisle. Is there an underwear aisle? I thought that was just on like the little circular things in the middle of the store. Maybe not. I don't know. I don't go in the women's area.
The underwear I always look at is on a circular thing in the middle of the store.
That looks pretty good. I'm going to go get some Hostess stuff now.
Hostess stuff.
That's a natural way to transition. Why were you talking about the store?
I was walking. I went through both a Schnucks and a Target this morning, looking for. I was looking for the. Here's the problem. I was too embarrassed to say this in the store, and now I'm literally broadcasting it like an idiot.
Don't let us stop you.
I was looking.
Keep going.
I was looking for wart cream. I got a little one on my toe. I'm like, I gotta get rid of this thing. And I can't. I walked through 6 aisles of women's beauty stuff.
Why are you looking in the women's for that?
Ryan is such the guy who walks into the people in Target is like, I need wart cream, and then you tell an entire bull crap story about your your friend who has a wart and he's too embarrassed to come in here, so he asked me to come get it, and his wart's not on his toe at all, and it doesn't look like this at all.
Walt has a wart, and he got to get rid of it. He didn't know who to ask but me, and I'm just a good guy. So.
Al Johnson says a stroll around Victoria's Secret. Do you guys have you ever been in a women's lingerie store with your wife? 7:52
I can
p.m.
confidently tell you no, because I do remember, it's been a while since we've been to a mall, but walking through a mall, and my wife will always be like, look this way now. And I'm like, oh, on my right must be a Victoria's Secret. As if I had not seen it.
You're the guy, the people who are across the way from Victoria's Secret, they know you.
Yeah.
Like every time this guy, he's walking down the mall hallway, and every time he goes past Victoria's Secret, he steps to the side and shuffles away.
Yeah.
And his wife's yelling at him the whole way. There's probably like one of those every 60 minutes.
Yep. One
For
guy
sure.
who walks past sideways, doing like
So you've never
walk.
walked through a Victoria's Secret or something with your wife?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
You
I don't think
blacked
she
out?
would let me.
What?
Yeah, because there's too many pictures of women in lingerie. She's like, no, you
because
can't do
they're
that.
selling them.
Yeah, that's what I tell her.
They do
that's
sell
what they
more.
Sell
You
there.
should go in there. Great commerce.
They sell some really good perfume in there.
They
I
sell
must
great
say.
stuff in
That's
there.
what I always say. Let's just go in and look at the perfume then.
Let's go in and smell it. Smells great in there.
Let's just go
What
and
are they
smell
selling
stuff.
in there?
She's like, well, let's go to Bed Bath & Beyond then. I'm like, it's not the same for some reason.
You ever
Different
been in a
sense.
lingerie store with your wife?
I spent the night in a lingerie store.
Ooh,
by
as a
myself.
dare.
What?
Was it haunted?
It was not haunted.
Not the way you wanted it to be, at least.
Yeah, everybody's like, "Oh God, can't wait to hear this story."
Do they have really sexy ghosts that haunt you in Victoria's Secret overnight, or are they like not sexy?
They kind of boo like Marilyn Monroe singing "Happy Birthday, Mr. President."
Happy boo
to you. That'd be terrifying. Why were you sleeping in a lingerie?
I didn't say I slept. I said I spent the night in one.
I don't. Okay.
So I've talked about this before, but
I get it.
one of my past jobs was a security guard.
Yeah.
And so what these stores in the mall do is whenever they have updates or they need maintenance done, they do it after hours. Well, the manager leaves, so they need somebody that they can trust that they give the key to. So they hire a security company that comes in.
And they looked at you and they looked at Wiggins. They're like, "Here you go, Brad."
Yeah. Yeah. And so when I was working in security, there were some maintenance guys. Yeah, Ryan's
I'll do it. I mean, somebody's got to do it, right?
It's ironic that it's the same character you play when you want to talk to Ted.
It's the same guy. It's not a character. It's just a guy.
The guy.
Really excited.
The same guy.
Oh, so you protected?
I guarded the lingerie.
I
you hadn't been there.
I would trust Brad to do that.
The thing that's weird about it, though, is they were the maintenance guys were done like 20 minutes after the store closed. I mean, it was like a real quick job. And so I'm just there in the
Well, I guess I'll just
in
stay
the
here all
Victoria's Secret until the manager that opens for the next morning comes in. And so I'm sitting in the store with the bars closed down and the gates over, and
It's
the
like
old
every
people are
guy's
walking
dream
around.
job. Can you lock me overnight in the Victoria's
It's-
Secret store? Is there any way to get paid for that?
FYI, there was a ghost like going through all the women's lingerie. I don't know if there's any cameras or anything to see it. I hope
Ryan
not. But
Wiggins in a sheet.
why is all the lingerie strewn around? Well, I'm telling you, this place is haunted.
Listen, of all the things Ryan Wiggins could be wearing in a lingerie store, I prefer the sheet.
Yeah.
I prefer. Never mind.
Head to toe, cover them up.
I'm sitting here thinking about your wife right now. You're gonna hear about this
Yeah, we
later.
assume you're going in for you, honey.
Let's just get her something nice. Go to the semi-annual sale and pick out something lovely.
Semi-annual. We can do it as many times per year as we want. It's semi-annual.
Anyway, this was supposed to be about the YouTube live chat poll, which is about
religion.
Are you religious?
Yeah. Yes.
Brad, Pastor Brad, are you religious? Yes, no, or undecided?
Yes.
Simple yes.
Simple yes.
Do you think that religion is a bad word? Do you think people have taken the idea of being religious? Define it.
So, to me, religion is a relationship with Christ. That's what it is. So it's not necessarily whenever you ask me if I'm being religious, not necessarily the organized religion part of it, because that's just a way of formulating the theology, what you've understood from the scriptures. But to me, what it really boils down to is I have a relationship with Christ. He's my Lord and my Savior. And therefore, I try to live my life in a way that's holy and pleasing to him, despite this past couple conversations that we've had. But but like, people look at it and say, "Oh, you're really religious," and they assume that you are like a high church or whatever. And it's really not about that. It's a whole way of living your life.
When people use that as a pejorative term, and they say, when they use the word religious, it's not about what they don't like. The thing that they are criticizing is not how religion means to you. It's how they feel that your religion is projected on others. And the idea, you use the phrase organized religion. Very few people, if anybody, have I ever heard use the term organized religion in a way that's like, yeah, that's awesome. Like, you don't use that vocabulary word, organized religion, as a way to compliment what church essentially is. So organized religion is used in a pejorative sense to, in my opinion, take what sinners have done to the idea of worship and community within church, and then kind of make it something that is naturally going to feel a little less desirable because it's been corrupted by sinners.
Yes.
You, Ryan, are you religious?
I would have at one time said no, because there was a movement for a while to say, well, it's not about religion, it's about relationship. You kind of said this, Brad, but at this point, I would say yes, simply because even if you have a strong relationship with Christ, there are aspects of what you do that are religious.
Right.
There are disciplines that you have,
right,
whether they be going to church or praying or reading the Bible, that are religious. You almost have to find a vibe.
Everybody looks at Hannah when we say her favorite word, vibe.
You have to find a discipline, I guess is the right word, to continue to go through to maintain that relationship in a way. I shouldn't say that, because the relationship doesn't go away if you don't maintain the discipline. But you know what I mean. It's something that you do to maintain your strength of relationship, just like you would in a marriage. There's things that you do in a marriage that are on a regular basis to maintain that relationship. So, loaded word, you're right, with religion, but I would answer it yes at this point.
All right, let's get Hannah's response and my response when we come back. You still have a chance to go vote in the poll. We'd love to know what your thoughts are, why you voted the way you did. The Annie Frey YouTube channel, we're live right there right now. It's in the chat room, or the chat box that's on the live broadcast. Are you religious? Vote yes, no, or undecided in the poll. Leave a comment if you so choose. We'll get the results and Hannah's response and my response in just a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show. The Mark Reardon Show.
George Rizzo, he is a Republican candidate for state senate.
This censorship almost going on, and people are uncomfortable saying where they are.
The cancel culture stuff.
The cancel culture stuff.
Weekdays from 3 to 6 on 97.1 FM Talk.
Well, I got a message today on Facebook of somebody who was at a different restaurant than Andrea's, but started talking to the server about Andrea's restaurant and said, man, if you've never been there, you need to go. And the server said, actually, I've heard about their sauce. And they apparently looked at each other, and both of them said, do you listen to 97.1? And they said yes. So cool story. Thanks for sharing it to whoever did that on Facebook. But I say that because apparently word's getting out, and appreciate you guys saying so, especially when you're at other restaurants. But do visit Andrea's restaurant in Fairview Heights, O'Fallon, Illinois. You will not be disappointed. Fantastic meal. Andrea's steak sauce, Andrea's salad dressing, both of them make a very unique meal, and you can have both of them at home by visiting area grocery stores and picking up either one of them. Of course, it's a brush-on steak sauce, so you use it while you're cooking, and the salad dressing is very, very unique as well. Pick those both up, area grocery stores, or at andreas.com.
Hi guys, it's Andrew with Pineview Medical Clinic. Is erectile dysfunction damaging your relationship? Are you sick of the pill and all the side effects? Well, welcome to the future. We have a major medical breakthrough. Pineview Medical Clinic uses the most advanced form of wave therapy. Backed by 60 clinical studies, our technology uses pressure waves to repair and open up blood vessels. We've helped countless men get rid of their ED. But what is the true end result? Their relationship, even their lives, improve drastically. If you're ready to regain your love life, call us right now, and not only will the assessment and ultrasound be free, we'll also give you a gift that that produces immediate results in the bedroom. It almost never fails. This is worth $550, and it's free to callers right now. 314-530-7777. That's 314-530-7777. Put a stop to your erectile dysfunction and experience what I call the happiness ripple effect. Call Pineview Medical Clinic now. 314-530-7777.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Hello, this is Chad Clayman with ClaymanGroup.com, 314-946-9999, 946, all nines. If you just inherited a property and you're not sure what you're going to do with it and you want an as-is sale, please reach out to us today. Especially with probate cases, we do a lot of work with the probate courts and we're very familiar with the confusing process. So if you have a house that you want to sell fast, maybe something that you just inherited, please reach out. Phone number is 314-946, all nines, ClaymanGroup.com, KLAMEN, 946-9999.
Let the Dave Munganass Pre-Owned Center on South Limburg put you behind the wheel of your next vehicle. Customers are seeing that when you choose the Dave Munganass Pre-Owned Center in South County, you're getting more than a great deal. You're joining the Munganass family. Come see the difference at DaveMunganass.com since 1965.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating and Cooling Studios. Air Comfort Service is celebrating 53 years of residential and commercial service, maintenance, and installation of heating and cooling systems. Get in your comfort zone. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Bringing you up-to-the-minute traffic like nobody else. Sue Thomas and dependable traffic, driven by Ambassador Midwest Floor Company. The best way to deal with in-home traffic. Experience more at Ambassador Midwest Floor. The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
She never mentions the word addiction in certain company.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. You guys seen Rocky Horror Picture Show?
Never.
No?
No, I've never seen it.
I haven't either.
Good for you.
Have you,
Good
Brad?
conversation.
I have never seen the whole movie.
Have you?
I've seen parts of it.
No, I haven't.
Oh, crap.
The only time I would consider is going to a theater where everybody's seen it.
Oh, that's, in my opinion, the worst way to
Yeah,
No,
what?
I want to see the spectacle. If I'm going to go in, I want to go all in. And
Ryan wants to sit in the front of the theater facing the
facing back. Hi, you ever tried that in an elevator? Oh man, stand in a crowded elevator and then turn around.
I do it all the time.
It's fun.
And I talk to people.
I love it. Do you really?
Yes.
Sounds like Annie and I's worst nightmare.
Bob on this means something to somebody though.
Yeah.
Bob on Facebook says Ryan and Victoria's Secret. All I see is Tim Curry from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Just enough awareness I think I know what that
I don't know what that means. Somebody tweet at me like what we're talking about.
I
here.
know what that means.
All right, do you?
A lot
Yes.
of cross-dressing in that movie,
Yes.
as I understand it,
Hmm.
having not seen it.
I see the correlation then.
Me too, because I would be in a Victoria's Secret wearing women's clothing.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, I would be like Tim Curry from Rocky Horror Picture Show.
It is also possible to just casually go into Victoria's Secret and just be a dude who's in there with his wife.
I don't know.
Not having you don't. It's not. You would have to fight the compulsion to make it weird because you don't have to.
No.
Look at your eyes right now.
It's weird.
I couldn't do that.
It's not possible to not say anything.
Here's the thing. Everything that your wife...
Say anything. What are you
You'd
gonna
have to
say?
acknowledge Hey, I'm just here shopping. You have to say something.
There are
Every
not.
person that
No.
walks by, you got to say something to them.
There are nonverbal ways of doing that, and that means that you hold her purse for her.
No. You're by yourself.
No, she said
Why
with
would
your
you
wife.
be by yourself?
I thought
to
that's-
buy her something nice.
Yeah.
Maybe. Nothing wrong with that. You
Now,
can-
Brad's right. If you're with her, you can hold her purse.
You hold
can
the
look
purse.
bored.
Hold the.
Sigh a lot. Oh, gosh.
there's a whole sketch that we could do, and I just can't figure out how to make it work and not be so
Everybody that walks
creeped out.
by, you go, I thought this was a lids. Where's
These
Spencer's?
aren't hats.
It kind of is. It can be whatever you want it to be.
Where did they put the hats? I'm incensed. Someone point me to a lids.
Can I get this embroidered?
Get this embroidered in Victoria's Secret. Please try that.
You probably have very little real estate to work with in that case.
That kind of a long name. Is that going to work?
Just put her initials on it.
My name is, can you just write Ryan Shire Wigglesworth?
On an A cup. Shoot, doesn't fit.
I'm going to need to buy the matching set. Anyway.
Ryan Shire Wigglesworth. She must be a bigger girl. Indeed she is, sir. Thank you for asking. I love our interchange that we're having.
I'm going to delete the tweet where I tagged Ted Cruz on this broadcast. Yeah, tune in here. Watch the video here, the live stream. Boy, he's making some serious staffing decisions today. Sorry to them. Let's give it over to Hannah and get to the YouTube live chat poll. I'm really curious about a lot of the comments today.
All right. The YouTube poll question today is, are you religious? Yes, no, or undecided? 77% of the people with over 200 votes said that they are religious. 19% said they are not. And 4% said they are undecided. I want to read Mark Reed's comment first before I reply to the poll question myself. Mark Reed said, define religion. Some that is involved with an organized religion. In that case, no. Someone who goes to church every week? No. Someone who has a personal walk with God and still believes? Yes. His comment kind of reflects on what I was thinking when I was voting in the poll, because I don't necessarily go to church every Sunday, but I do believe in God. And I was raised Catholic, and we went to Catholic church when I was younger. I went with my grandma every time I was with her, but I'm not super involved, but I do believe in God. So I have a hard time understanding the definition of religious.
Well, I think that I specifically worded this question without any parameters, because I think that a lot of people would consider themselves religious in ways that other people who consider themselves religious would say that's not religious. So I'm interested more in the kind of personal science behind why it is that one might think that they are religious. So we're going to get to these comments from you here in a second. I will answer that question. I absolutely think I consider myself religious. It's the most important part of my life. And I think that one of the thing that I will say to people who consider themselves religious, like Mark was saying, that are maybe a little repelled by the idea of, we used the phrase before because someone made the comment, organized religion. I think that people have a thought and an opinion about organized religion because they have had an experience with another sinner in organized religion that had too broad of a representation of the religion and the place where religion is practiced in worship, that it's important that we all understand at all times that every single church body is comprised 100% of people who are sinners. And the people who, and I'm talking Christian faith right now because that's what I am, the people who are those sinners have to be involved in that community with the understanding first and foremost that they are sinners. And I don't think that that's always the case in religion. I don't always feel as though Christianity does that as well. I think that it becomes an industry and a business in a sinful way that shouldn't really be entirely shocking to people who really understand the purpose of faith from a Christian standpoint. And I'm not discounting any other religions. I just don't know them as well as I know mine. But the one thing that I will say, and I would ask anybody who's listening right now to consider, if you consider yourself to be a Christian person and you're not a church-going person because you've had a bad taste with, air quotes, organized religion. Boy, I have too. in a real profound, impactful way. To the point where my family was away from the church for about 6 months and moved out of a church, and like nobody from the church even cared that we were gone. That was like part of the structure of the church. The people, the sheep of the church still reached out to us, but the people who are at the level that you would want to shepherd you in that position just didn't. And the truth is that I found out in the end, where I am right now, that God had me the whole time, and that the best thing for me was to get back into a position where I could be in worship with other sinners again on Sundays, because that's when we worship. That coming to church to worship God is not because God says, this is my experience, it's not because God is saying, you have to do this or you're doing it wrong. It's because in any relationship that you're in, when you come together, it makes the relationship stronger, and that God wants to be with me as much as I want to be with God, in fact, infinitely more. So if you've been repelled from organized religion because a sinner did something to you, remember that you yourself are a sinner, that you're broken, you've hurt people, and pray about being in a position to put yourself back in that community again, because you could benefit from it. Give it a try. Give it a shot. That's my plug for it. For those people who may be in the undecided category.
Karen from YouTube says, I consider myself Christian, but I don't belong to any religious organization, so I said no on the poll. Jeff from YouTube says, I am religious and I have no problem letting anyone know. It's never anything to be ashamed of, but some do like to keep it quiet. G-Wib said, raised Catholic, but now go to a non-denominational church. Being religious doesn't necessarily mean belonging to a, quote, brand of religion. It's about faith and beliefs. James says, I've always been what I call spiritual. I have noticed that the older I get, the more religious I get. Could be guilt and hoping for penitence or gaining wisdom. I'm claiming both. Chris from YouTube said, raised Catholic, but not religious. John from YouTube says, am I religious? Yes. In my line of work, it is good to have some religion.
And I want to point out that his avatar is Mr. Incredible, so
he
his line of work
He's
is
a superhero.
He's constantly fighting crime.
I'll throw this in there real quick, too, just that my natural inclination is to not go to church because I don't want to do stuff. I'm at that age where I'm like, I don't want to do anything. I'm tired. But the more when I don't go, after a month or so, I notice how much I miss it. And I miss the accountability, which is a huge part of church. If you're missing church, you don't have the accountability and you need it.
Yeah. And I would say, as a Christian, if you feel broken, we're all broken, and you'll find that you've been made perfect through somebody bigger than you and better than you could ever dream to be. That's my Christian faith. But I think practiced faith, whatever the faith is an important part of a spiritual health. And hopefully you consider it. And I'm so happy that I got to get a cross-section of you folks and how you live your lives. Stick around. The Mark Maroon Show coming up next.
Hi, this is Thomas Helbig with the Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw, Tom's nephew. As a family business,